Time is forgotten.
Otherwise, we should all be discussing.
Love is remembered.
One of the things to come out about this week is the role that injunctions play.
The president has been saying he wants to frame it around Kavanaugh, the caravan, tax cuts, and he puts it common sense.
I think there's
but
a
today,
lot
the
to
president
concern
very
about
much
it.
tried to keep that caravan, which grew back up to over 7,000 migrants, in front of the mind of voters, going to the polls in less than 2 weeks. Early voting already starting in many parts across the country. The president got some backup today from Vice President Mike Pence after the president himself tweeted directly to the caravan, quote, "Go back to your country, and if you want, apply for citizenship like millions of others."
They left a particular company to go and work for a competitor. But what's really emerged is that they are being used by very rich, wealthy, powerful people, often men, to prevent people who allege abuse or harassment against them from ever speaking
We are
out
not
in public
going
about it.
to allow you to enter our country illegally.
Very, very specialist, highly paid lawyers.
Now,
It's
the
not
president
an even
has
balance
also
of
ordered
power,
the Pentagon
is it?
to send U.S.
and somebody who has been subject to harassment
to the border.
or abuse.
This will include about 800 military engineers, doctors, and lawyers.
May feel they've got no choice other than to sign
to back up the border patrol that's
so
already there, as well as
remember
the 2,100.
And I think there certainly will be big picture questions about these agreements.
The president already sent there.
Where the troops go
is still being worked out in terms
of legitimate device, but
details.
Actually,
the fact the president is now engaging active duty military in this effort shows
that is really quite concerning.
Well, yes, and many people, many employers might say, well,
continues to follow up on a key promise from his own 2016 campaign, cracking down on.
Originally, they were used, weren't they, to kind of protect.
We're following breaking news again tonight. Reports that the president is considering it, an executive order of some type that would crack down on who exactly can get asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border. Bottom line is the president already 2 days ago.
Increasingly for these specific types of cases, and as you say, there might be a case that, you know,
Sean,
between consenting
adults,
he
might have to shut the border down altogether.
Back in
this
March,
might be one step in that direction
raised alarm about this because they were seeing increasingly NDAs being used to cover up not just again things that people might not want to get out.
Pointed out, he has the legal and constitutional authority to do so. In Washington tonight,
criminal in nature, and I think when you get into a situation,
thank you. The New York Times reporting that President Trump, as he just mentioned, considering
the legal system in that sense, that's not just for anyone.
I think that's right, and it can cost hundreds of thousands of pounds to afford these things. So there's something that's
executive
available
action
to the very rich and wealthy.
Migrants from entering the country.
Okay. Well, let's move on. But as we say, the paper's all going with
previous
the fact that
travel ban. Tony is now with reaction. Former Secret Service agent, NRA TV.
Green's denials there, like the Guardian, for example. But let's move on to other stories. On the front of the Telegraph,
contributor Dan Bongino, along with Fox News contributor, investigative reporter Sarah Carter. You see her often on Fox News, Fox and Friends Weekend. Rachel Campos Duffy. Good to see you all. Sarah, you were down there. You reported to us that in fact
to a lot of horror,
you saw people with MS-13 tattoos. I want, as you're speaking, to put up the video we just saw, and that is if they get to the southern border. This is when
various people who, frankly, are all vocal critics of Donald Trump. So it ranges from Robert De Niro, who was mentioned here,
the border with Mexico.
President Joe Biden,
Mexican police did not have a very large.
Hillary Clinton, former CIA Director John Brennan, that was sent to CNN mistakenly because he's actually a contributor at MSNBC.
And they're banging down that fence, and then you see them rushing across the border.
Particularly because Trump responded to it first, trying to strike quite a presidential conciliatory tone.
They didn't do anything. That's not going to happen here.
But then not being able to resist the opportunity to have a pop at the media for potentially stirring this up, it has created this whole discussion about how much
very concerned about what's happening here. Remember, a lot of these people that are crossing, they've been
that I think is a dangerous road to go down as far as
they know what to say. This is the reason why the president is considering this drastic action. So they get to the border, they try to claim credible fear, asylum. They know the stories they need to say to get the asylum
Trump seems to be saying, well, you know, these media organisations, some of which have been targeted and responsible, which is an absolutely shocking
to
thing,
approve them into the country so that they can actually go get a court date.
Very, very serious questions to be asked. We've seen a hugely heightened
These are really deep concerns here within ICE. I was on the phone with
President Trump and his followers You know, President Trump has been a long time
ICE agents as well as Border Patrol agents.
Calling journalists.
This is a large group of people, and remember, it's
saying good things
swelled
about
as it went through Mexico. So we had the people coming from Honduras, through Guatemala.
Guardian journalists in the US. His rhetoric is very,
and then some of the
very
people in Guatemala turned back and went back to Honduras. But then the rest of them
have to take some responsibility because we know that context matters.
And what happened was the drug cartels kept adding to it. So they were putting their own people in, the smugglers. And today I just got information and some photos, actually right before.
But the heightened
coming on the show that in Guatemala they found 7 little children unaccompanied.
And it's got to stop. We can't have the most powerful man in the world.
Minors with no parents. That they've now taken them to a facility and social workers.
And the fingers be pointed at Donald Trump, or would you say that there's
and they're keeping them there. So people are willing to do almost anything. Remember, these aren't just
toned down.
I think it's fair to say that there is heightened talk on both sides.
Migrants looking for work. Some of them are, but there's also people in there that are willing to cross.
Casually compared to kind of fascistic dictators, constantly puffed up as a kind of threat to all that is moral and decent.
They're criminals, and they're willing to do things like smuggle children into the country.
But nevertheless, you could easily make an argument on the other side,
the president has been clear.
And one thing you can say about President, for instance, Steve Scalise, Republican congressman, was shot by a Bernie Sanders supporter last year. Now, in that case,
when he says something, he means it.
To suggest
you heard the vice president. If there's any confrontation on our southern border, it will be precipitated by people that do not respect our Constitution, our rule of law, our borders, and our sovereignty.
Has been at it again. We'll tell you more about that when we come back.
They will cause whatever confrontation happens. And you have even people on the left, they'll all say, well,
residents on Mexico's Pacific coast have begun clearing up the wreckage left by Hurricane Willa. The storm ripped through the town overnight, tearing off rooftops, down power lines, and splitting trees apart. Willa hit the northwestern state of Sinaloa late on Tuesday.
Far-left ideology. Matter of fact, he didn't even expect
one of the strongest storms to lash the coast in recent years, with winds of up to 120 miles per hour.
As large as it did. But let me just ask a simple question to our far-left friends who have been, Sean, conspicuously silent
Indonesia's second largest city has come up with a novel way to encourage its residents to recycle waste, giving free bus rides in exchange for used plastic bottles. Under the scheme launched by Surabaya in April, commuters can ride red city buses by dropping off plastic bottles at terminals or directly paying a fare with bottles. A 2-hour bus ticket costs 10 plastic cups or up to 5 plastic bottles, depending on their size, which the city hopes will help it meet an ambitious target of becoming free of plastic by 2020.
Nobody.
City data shows that 15%, or nearly 400 tons, of Surabaya's daily waste is plastic.
Let's assume that the 99% just want a better life.
The Philippines has reopened its top tourist lure, the island of Boracay.
I think people need to understand,
if we had the border wall an intensive cleanup, to overhaul its overwhelmed road, waste and water systems has been going on. The new and cleaner Boracay will now have stricter rules to try and maintain high environmental standards, according to the tourism secretary. Tourists will have to say goodbye to beach parties and water sports when the White Sand Resort reopens.
By Secretary Nielsen in her very good interview with Mark McCallum earlier today.
Along with late-night parties. The number of visitors will be capped at 6,405 arrivals a day,
kids that you
and
see
only 19,000
with the MS-13 and other adults that we don't know who they are in that caravan. 30% of the girls that are on this journey are
Chinese entrepreneur is reviving
of the young boys
to tap into growing demand for niche handmade goods from China's young, affluent consumers. Taiwan Wan started his business selling handmade iron versions of the famous round-bottom cooking pan 3 years ago near his home village in the central Hubei province. He was inspired during a visit to a Japanese art workshop in Beijing, where he saw gifts made from traditional ironwork that were popular with young Chinese buyers.
Delta 340, Delta 341, be out to disturbance in progress at 10:15.
9-year-olds getting
mentioned Brexit so far this evening.
Amazing, isn't it?
No, but we are going to sneak it in now. Page 2 of the Sun that you've picked out, and it says plan belated.
This is crazy stuff. The left needs to do some soul searching because it is their open borders policies.
The forthcoming compromise over Brexit, trying to break through the impasse. Theresa May trying to find something which is on the one hand
and in some cases
agreed to by her own cabinet, but also something which might be agreeable from Brussels has been delayed again on Wednesday night.
And they bear some responsibility here, for sure.
All right, Rachel. Thank you.
A meeting at which the Cabinet was supposed to come together to discuss again the question of the Irish
backstop. By the way, congratulations on your new book, Sarah. Great reporting.
A solution to that.
We appreciate all you being with us. When we come back, Tommy Lahren on the streets of Los Angeles. What do they think about it?
Has been delayed. It's basically raised the question of whether, on this backstop issue,
also, Anthony Scaramucci,
Herman Cain reaching some sort of withdrawal agreement by mid-November, which was always the agreed deadline. So just
they weigh in. More breaking news as Hannity continues tonight.
Question about kickstarting more no-deal preparation, etc., and I think really underscores the fact that the backstop.
Be your own man.
Question.
Not the man from the movies or the cover of that magazine.
What happens with the Irish border
and groom. Know how they're different. Be good with difference. Just for men, hair and beard care. Be the better man you are and look the part.
Visuals can do more than just make you see great. The right pair of glasses.
On the one hand, you have the European Union, who only want it to be effectively annexed into the European Union at the end of the transition period. And then you have the UK, so that can't happen. It must be UK-wide.
Radar! $9. Or two progressives for $89.
Stop radars, backups and clogs.
Yes.
Cleansing and deodorizing power of Sandy Sticks. Now with a new lemon fresh scent. Drop in one, we're done. One Sandy Stick a month dissolves over time. The powerful blend of concentrated enzymes and lemon that break down and eliminate food.
It will, so we can talk about it many times again.
That already. Okay, let's move to the a double-page spread in the Times. They was the world's double-page spread, and
lemon fresh.
Stop it.
What is it?
About
Lemon fresh, original unscented, and other great scents. Now available at
so this is just the latest development in this kind of extraordinary story. And
don't need that private for right here. Now, what is it?
We believe in
Now, what is it? Let me turn the radar, sir. What's wrong with
and the
blood?
It really is something
The what? The what?
And the in your own beautiful, smartly designed home. In an active adult community,
you can't sort of claim that this is some sort of a mistake.
You'll like
it. And then
Here's what we in politics. Jesse's tackling college's biggest rivalries and scoring crowd reaction to the latest Trump rally. Don't miss Water's World.
It does lead to a reset of the relationship with the UK and Saudi Arabia.
There's only one man who would dare give me the raspberry.
Right record given Yemen responsible for the biggest humanitarian disasters of all time, massive problems with its human rights record. So, you know, this must lead to a reset of that relationship.
Well, Theresa May has been critical, hasn't she, of the way that Saudi Arabia has handled these allegations and talked about the story not being credible, but there's no sign of any shift in policy, certainly as far as arms sales are concerned, is there?
No, certainly not, because of course, not only Britain, but much of the West sell a hell of a lot of arms to Saudi Arabia, and it's quite clear that not only that, there's obviously a lot of kind of geopolitical interest bound up in that in relation to keeping Iran at bay, etc. But I think
at Tamiami Hyundai. Low fall payments with nothing due at signing. All new Konas.
what the Khashoggi case has really kind of underlined is just how morally untenable.
$259 a month, zero due. New Tucson's just $279 a month, and all new 2019
relationship only $349
a
month. Also, it's just you get into this bizarre situation which you have very important Western states having to effectively echo, or at least not challenge, ridiculous positions coming out of Riyadh. You know, first of all, as we were talking about, that it was some sort of brawl that now them actually taking some responsibility for it. Increasingly, it feels like this line that it was effectively just elements within the kind of seems to be the thing that's mirrored. It feels like that will be scapegoated rather than it actually taking on the real issues of the Crown Prince's
Let's have a quick look at the Times Post one because it links in. This is the Duke of York.
Destination.
Endorsed by the Florida Chamber of Commerce.
Saying eager to work closely with Saudi Arabia. Let's quickly touch on that.
Yeah, that's right. So just as we're having this conversation about how this must lead to a reset of the UK relations interventions. We've got the Duke of York making a slightly awkward intervention. No sense of timing on his part, clearly. He was speaking after an address to young people to promote the success of his entrepreneurship scheme in the Middle East, and saying that he would hope that Saudi Arabia would join. And I think there'd be a lot of people sort of wishing that he hadn't said that.
Okay, let's finally move on to page 3 of the Mail now, because this is some extraordinary photographs on this page, which make you feel dizzy. They call it the day Spider-Man conquered the city.
Yes, that's right. So it's a man who calls himself French Spider-Man, makes it his business to climb without harnesses. He's climbed 160 skyscrapers around the world, totally like freewheeling. He's climbed the tallest building in the world in 2011 in Dubai. This is him climbing the Heron Tower in the city though. I mean, it's just incredible. But there is no harnesses, and it's just crazy. But there is a serious note to the story. The story quotes.
Yeah, there's a serious note. I can see it's very serious.
I am Anna Maria from the risk to his own life that he's taken. But there had to be traffic stops. You know, they had to have ambulance services waiting, fire services. So it's become a huge cost to the British taxpayer as well. I think the message from this article is don't try this.
Absolutely not. It's rather amazing, isn't it, as well? Kind of limits.
I think that's
as long as it's someone else.
As long as it's someone else, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Probably could come and say that.
Are you aware of
it's nice to know that there are people out there who just have that little bit of risk as well as that little bit of sense of adventure.
I think it's a nice place to be at. I can see why a lot of people want to come.
If I was living outside the United States, I would do everything I could to get here.
If you don't stop this caravan, there's going to be more. There's already one built.
I don't think that the entire caravan is filled with bad people and hombres. We just can't have a bunch of people crash the border.
That's all changed today. There should be somebody listed arrested today because of the travesties that are occurring in their country.
We take care of the American people first and foremost before we deal with anybody else's country's problems.
I think we should have a wall to stop this coming in. No, there should be no wall.
A wall of barrier is the stupidest possible thing.
It's going to be regarding horses in the middle lane.
Look at history. Look at the Great Wall of China.
There should be no wall on our planet. It's just wrong. I mean, imagine every country had a wall.
See a broad to get that booty act, lay her down and snag her.
Who would be coming over here since we really don't know who these people are?
You're cleared for takeoff. Roger. LA departure frequency 123.9er. Roger. Request vector over. Flight 209er clear for vector 324. We have clearance, Clarence. Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor? LA radio clear. Clarence over. Over. Roger, over. I was in the Air Force, stationed in Drambuie, off the Barbary coast. I used to hang out at the Magumpa Bar. It was a rough place, the seediest dive on the wharf, populated with every reject and cutthroat from Bombay to Calcutta. It was worse than Detroit. I was captivated, entranced. It hit me like a thunderbolt. I had to ask the guy next to me to pinch me to make sure I wasn't dreaming.
This is really important. One thing that you write about in your book that is so true about Donald Trump, he says it.
Excuse me, I happen to be passing. I thought you might like some coffee. Oh, it's very nice of you, thank you.
The legendary Steve Roth from the
I want you still.
Thank you. President. He takes out a yellow piece of paper, he writes down the list.
No, thank you. I took it back.
Checks off the list
like my man.
And so he is super happy that he's fulfilling these.
Joey, we have something here for our special visitors. Would you like to have it?
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Sure. You ever been in the cockpit before?
No, sir. I've never been up in a plane before.
And the reduction
you ever seen a grown man naked? Do you want me to check the weather, Clarence? No, why don't you take care of it? Joey,
and that's why the African
ever
American
hang around the gymnasium?
Are so fantastic, as well as
you like movies about gladiators?
What do you do? Do you like another cup of coffee? I will, but Jim won't.
I think I will have another cup of coffee.
Amazing statistics, which should be in people.
Jim never has a second cup of coffee at home.
We saw the video earlier. What happened at the Mexico border, their southern border.
It was at that moment that I first realized Elaine had doubts about our relationship. And that, as much as anything else, led to my drinking problem.
Oh, I can't stand it. What is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's my stomach. I haven't felt this awful since we saw that Ronald Reagan film.
Reagan? Have you ever been in a Turkish prison? I should have had that second cup of coffee.
But we don't know. We can't talk to any person in there, and others will mix in with them. But it would be precipitated by Mexico also alive.
Jim, your vomits at home.
You're absolutely
I'm sorry I had to wake you. I'm just looking for a doctor. There's nothing to worry about.
Stewardess, I think the man sitting next to me is a doctor.
Sir, excuse me, sir. I'm sorry I have to wake you. You're a doctor?
That's right.
We have some passengers. They're very sick. Could you come take a look?
Yes, of course. At all costs. This president has given no... You better tell the captain we've got to land as soon as we can. This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now. Tell the captain I must speak to him.
If you were standing in the front door of your home, and they had no credentials,
Captain,
would you
I'll send you land. You can tell me I'm a doctor. No, I'm just not sure. Okay, take a guess. Not for another 2 hours. You can't take a guess for another 2 hours? No, I mean we can't land for another 2 hours. The fog has closed down everything this side of the mountains. We've got to get through to Chicago. What is it, Doctor? What's going on? I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything like this since you need a Brad concert. What was it we had for dinner tonight?
Well, we had a choice, steak or fish.
Yes, I remember. I had lasagna. This is Captain Over speaking. Still a little bumpy up here, but we'll be past it in a few minutes. A couple points of interest. We're now flying over Hoover Dam, and a little later on, we'll pass to the south of the Grand Canyon. Meanwhile, relax and enjoy your flight. Every passenger on this plane will have fish for dinner. We'll become violently ill in the next half hour.
Just how serious is it, Doctor?
Extremely serious. It starts with a slight fever, dryness of the throat. As the virus penetrates red blood cells, the victim becomes dizzy. He gets to experience an itching rash. From there, the poison goes to work on the central nervous system, causing severe muscle spasms, followed by the inevitable drooling. At this point, the entire digestive system collapses, accompanied by uncontrollable flatulence, until finally the poor bastard is reduced to a quivering, wasted piece of junk. Chief, we got fog right down to the deck, every place east of the Rockies. No possibility they'll have to come through to Chicago. Looks like that picture won't leak. We're smoking.
Oh my God, the automatic pilot, it's deflating!
That's a great scene. Don't panic. On the belt line of the automatic pilot, there's our tube. Now that is the manual inflation notch. Pull it out and throw on. What the hell's going on up there?
They say that when the surfers were attacked with ransomware, years and these videos would last. Daily, the video was captured and moved to servers for archival and review. Protected with a blacklisted device, which allowed the two-year-old ransomware to destroy the video. Introducing automatic server security.
This is due to periodic air pockets we encountered. There's no reason to become alarmed. We hope you enjoy the rest of your flight. By the way, is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
Just unbelievable. How many times I've warned those people about food inspection?
I think after all these years, someone would listen to me.
That we're managed with the FAA and the airlines? Oh, cheats and liars. All right, let's get out of here.
Today's connected world is full of threats you may not see if you just monitor your credit to help protect your identity. LifeLock sees more.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Information on the dark web.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. Now don't call me Shirley.
Dr. Archibald, Mr. Stryker's the only one.
What flying experience do you have? Single-engine fighters in the Air Force, but this plane has 4 engines. It's an entirely different kind of flying, altogether. It's an entirely different kind of flying.
Stand it anymore. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Down, get a hold of yourself. I gotta get out of here.
Calm down, I'll get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down, get off your seat.
Doctor, you're on the phone.
Insurance needs
Everything's gonna fall.
from the UK, the speculation is over.
He wanted to say
excuse me, would you like to have this flower? Excuse me, sir, would you? The name of the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? Jerry's kids? Scientology? Or nuclear power? I know, but this guy doing the flying has no airline experience at all. He's a menace to himself and everything else in the air. Yes, birds too. Okay.
All right, I'm going to level with you all. The most important thing now is that you remain calm. There's no reason to panic. Now, it is true that one of the crew members is ill. Slightly ill. But the other two pilots are just fine at the controls flying the planes, free to pursue a life of religious fulfillment.
Chief, this weather bulletin says you off the wire. Johnny, what can you make out of this? This? Why did it cap? What a brooch! A pterodactyl. How you doing, honey?
Working so hard, I'm burning up.
We have Missouri, then we have Arizona, then we have
Come on, finish. Think of the miles, of course. That's impossible. We're on instruments.
There she is. Takes it away from the...
It's a real sweat. Gunderson, let me know when you get anything. Got a cigarette now? Can't take much more of this. Like I picked the wrong week. Shayna, they bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash.
Why don't we hear? I agree. And the weather's better there.
Would you like a little whiskey, man?
Certainly not.
Come visit us soon. We had a great show tonight, Hannity. All right, I'm going to the Ingram angle. It's very busy tonight here in Washington.
How are the passengers doing? I'm going to see you, Mr. Stryker. We're running out of time. Shirley, there must be something you can do. I'm doing everything I can. And stop calling me Shirley. Bad news. Fog is getting thicker.
And Leon's getting larger.
Boss, good man, top dog, big cheese, a head honcho. Look at this. Passenger's certain to die. Airline Nick.
There's a sale at Penny's.
All right, he's on final now. But all runway lights except 9.
Captain, maybe we ought to turn on the searchlights now.
Non-disclosure agreements are often used in
That's just what they'll be expecting us to.
industrial secrets being
I just want to tell you both good luck.
of the notorious
meant to detonate, but they were meant to intimidate and sow fear. And predictably, the left and their journalist brethren are blaming President Trump.
Law enforcement investigators are obviously right now, I'm sure, noticing that all of the recipients have been the targets of wrath from President Trump.
He has frequently channeled his supporters' rage toward people or groups that he sees as his political enemies, some of whom were targeted by today's
taking the group, which at one stage distracted 7,000 people in 11 days.
And he's
at least another month to walk the 1,700 kilometers
the impulse to blame the president takes us back to the issues of basic fairness and common sense, two qualities that seem to be in short supply these days. It's irresponsible and it's outrageous for these folks to even imply that somehow these dastardly acts were provoked by our commander-in-chief. And the media wonder why the American people have increasingly little respect for them. What is it? And plus, where was their outrage and fury when prominent Democrats were either just personally and viciously insulting conservatives or actually using aggressive action toward them?
Gustavo tells me he's willing to stop illegally there's no escaping life under a dictator. As they pause by the roadside to ponder their next move, Donald Trump is making his own. Starting to send at least 800 military troops to destroy
what you stand for, what you care about.
No toxicity there at all. No urging of aggressive rhetoric or aggressive attitudes. Here's how the media and Democrat outrage when Hollywood made threats.
There's only one
would
dare give me the raspberry.
It's William Shakespeare's play.
Lone Star.
Like you've never seen before. A man dressed to look like President Donald Trump gets stabbed to death on stage.
Of course I want to punch him in the face.
Here, and there are very few police officers present.
I won't give away what we're doing. Charlie and I are not afraid to do images that make noise.
I have thought
The Mexican
an
government
awful
told
lot
Sky News that there are
about
still
blowing up the White House.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
Maybe getting smaller.
I'm going to say one thing.
The man they need to get on side is already declaring their journey as a national emergency.
Well, not only was there no criticism from the left, they were applauding this stuff. And they just love these ugly personal confrontations.
For you now, and the owner of
British
Airways, IAG, has
and they're so nasty, all the different stuff,
further customers
may have had
their personal details compromised during a cyber attack.
Folks like Joe
The group
Scarborough
said in
asking
a stock
if
exchange
Hillary or
announcement
Maxine's
that as part
rhetoric
of an
led to all
investigation
this
into a
harassment
cyber
and
breach that took
viciousness.
place in September this year.
I think the Democrats have just gotten so wrapped around the axle about Trump and all this stuff he's achieved, and his numbers are going up. They've adopted a by any means necessary strategy to get him out of power.
Several others are still missing.
And by not strongly and repeatedly condemning the group's destructive activity
rescue
and
operation
the
with help
methods,
sent from Israel
I think in a way you could argue that they've become the party by default of Antifa.
34 people,
and let's stop comparing, by the way, the Tea Party to Antifa, as some on the left have strained to do. I heard that today. Last time I checked, the Tea Partiers like dress up like Betsy Ross and so forth.
Role in the Cambridge
they were gathering and debating about how to
scandal.
stop Obamacare and stop future bailouts, arguing about TARP and stuff like that. The Tea Party was interested in driving people to the polls in 2010. Not driving people from the
UK's
public
Home
square.
Secretary's apologised to migrants, including
and now in the wake
Afghan
of these
nationals
bomb
who
mailings,
worked for the British Armed Forces.
Amusing, if not disturbing, to watch the Pied Pipers of chaos,
they were entitled
the fomenters of harassment, try to flip the script.
People were made to provide
all of you guys. I'm so glad that you're here and alive today, because we could have been mourning you guys.
I do know in my heart that President Trump bears a lot of responsibility for rhetoric that made it almost inevitable that top Democrats and the media would be targeted.
I think the President of the United States has been to the constituency.
I think that they're acting out what they believe the President wants them to do.
The French Spider-Man, Alain Robert, has climbed one of London's tallest buildings without ropes on.
This is the woman who said, you know, basically go find them wherever they are, at a gas station, a restaurant, wherever they are.
Took an hour to clamber up the 230-metre.
We all remember what happened more than a year ago, June of 2017, when a Trump-hating Bernie Sanders supporter, yes, it was all verified, James Hopkins opened fire on a Republican baseball practice. There could have been 12 people killed, not one nearly killed, of course, as Congressman Steve Scalise was.
Gulf News leads on the hunt for the US mail
began looking for a political explanation for the shooting.
High-profile Democrat
Do you remember what Nancy Pelosi at the time
Joe
said?
Biden and even the actor Robert De Niro have been sent bombs to their homes or places of work. They report the FBI are analysing explosive packages sent to prominent critics of the Trump administration.
As if they don't
Israel's Jerusalem Post reports that Israel has sent leaked forces to Jordan after floods killed 18 people. The Israeli Defense Force sent helicopters to assist in rescue operations at the request of Jordan after many children and school teachers were killed in a flash flood near the Dead Sea.
Any type of connection
South Africa's Mercury leads on the suspension of 2 national prosecuting authority officials over questions concerning their fitness for office. President Cyril Ramaphosa made the announcement in Parliament after the pair were criticised for handling a decision to withdraw criminal charges against the former head of crime intelligence who faced
no
corruption
apologies
charges.
from the left. I don't think all that many people
Kenya's
demanded
Daily
apologies.
Nation reports that many judges, police officers and protectors
in a joint
who were
statement with
bribed
Chuck
by the
Schumer,
Akasha
Pelosi
crime
is actually
family
trying to blame
to
the
block
president
extradition to
for these
America
suspicious
are now at
packages.
risk of
She said in a
indictment
statement,
by
time
the
and
US
time again, the
Department of
president
Justice.
has
2
condoned
brothers who are
physical
accused by
violence and
US
divided
prosecutors
Americans
of
with
playing
his words and actions.
This won't make comfortable viewing for the real crown prince of Saudi Arabia. A fake Mohammed bin Salman, made to look like he has blood on his hands. A vigil of friends and supporters of murdered Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
Laura, look, there is a climate of hate in the liberal media, and all of it is directed at the president.
Istanbul, more than 3 weeks after he stepped through its doors. and was brutally murdered. This advisor to Turkey's president was the first person Mr. Khashoggi's fiancée called when he disappeared.
And everything, blaming the president, inferring that the president was responsible for this. We have no idea who did this. Absolutely no idea whatsoever. And I would just say to them, stop, stop, stop. Jeff, for God's sake, it reads this way. One of my favorite TV shows is the Rachel Maddow show on MSNBC, unquote. The guy who wrote that law is the guy who shot Steve Scalise. Now, words matter, Jeff Zucker says, and these other folks are saying. If words matter, what they're really saying is that MSNBC and Rachel Maddow, who are virulently anti-Trump, are responsible for the Scalise shooting. That's just a bunch of hooey. That is very, very dangerous. And I'll tell you, what's really bad about this is, God forbid that something happens to the president or Sarah Sanders or some member of this administration. This kind of argument will whirl around in a heartbeat, and fingers will be pointed at CNN or MSNBC, and they'll try and lay the responsibility on them, and that is wrong.
Well, it's all an attempt to circumscribe speech. I mean, look, I always think for more speech is better. I don't, calling everybody's, when everybody's Hitler, nobody's Hitler. When everybody's racist, nobody's, I mean, it demeans true evil and true evil intent. When you want physical harm to occur, to happen to someone, whoever mailed these things, whether they wanted those things to go off or not, some people are saying they didn't. This is an evil intent. We understand that. We know that.
Exactly right.
Connecting political speech
is responsible.
Unless you're saying go hit some or go. Scotland correspondent James. I think it's a very dangerous territory people are walking into here. But Jeff, you just touched on this, and take a listen to what CNN's John King said today.
No one's blaming the president. If anyone wants the president, but the president now wants to make this about him.
Well, did you look down when you were talking, John? The lower third on the screen says CNN, Trump has no plan to claim any personal responsibility for inciting serial bomber. Here's another one. Manhunt for serial bomber going after Trump's targets. Drew, is that defensible on CNN's part?
Perfectly defensible. He
said they're not blaming Trump. They're clearly blaming Trump in their lower third, otherwise known as the lower third Chiron.
I think they're not blaming Trump emphatically enough. These are Trump targets, the people he has cited. He refers to people as traitors. They've committed treason. They're enemies of the state. He offered to pay if his supporters would beat up protesters. He offered to pay their legal fees. That's very specific.
So when someone equates, I actually have a lot of respect for Rachel Maddow. I think she does a great show. I don't agree with her on anything. But I say that people probably can hate me the fact that I say that. But I'm going to say that. Okay. If I were a liberal, I'd watch Rachel Maddow. But when you have someone like Maxine Waters saying go out and do this, when people repeatedly are calling Trump like Hitler. I mean, people, if they could have stopped Hitler, they would have. So you're saying that that has no connection to anything that would happen to a supporter of the president's, like Steve Scalise, wouldn't happen to, if something happened to the president, would you then connect those claims of Hitlerism to the assassination attempt? Would you do it both ways?
Are you suggesting that Steve Scalise was shot because of Democratic rhetoric? Is that what you're saying?
The president has repeatedly been called Pol Pot, Stalin, Hitler, pretty much every dictator rolled into one. On a continual loop in left-wing media, of which James Hodgkinson devoured on a daily basis. So you think there's, I'm saying, I actually agree you can't do that. You want to do it one way, but not the other way, which is convenient, which is what the angle was about.
How did Republicans talk about Obama? Remind me. Did they not say he was a dictator?
A dictator? Well, if you say you're a dictator, you're just, it's idiotic. Okay? People say idiotic things. The left used to be about free speech. The left now is about college speech codes and circumscribing speech. Less speech or more speech. And by the way, I defended your former boss. When they tried to throw him out, I was one of the few people on TV who said, let the voters decide. Not a lot of people did that. And he and I, he's been really nasty to me, and I actually defended him. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. As the Hoover Institution's Victor Davis Hanson writes, we're reaching a tipping point of civil strife not seen maybe since the 1960s, and it seems that the rules of discourse are being dictated, in this case solely by the left. Victor Davis Hanson is the author of the Second World Wars, and he joins us now. Victor, you've been hearing the conversation. Your reaction to what you've heard so far tonight?
Living proof. I don't carry them out.
Yeah, I think Americans are just tired of this instant virtue signaling and wounded fawn victimization when we don't know any of the facts of this incident. And they want symmetry. There's no rules in the arena. We don't know what the relationship is between violent or edgy speech and violent acts. We've been told, and I agree with that, I believe in free speech, that there's no connection between James Hodgkinson shooting Steve Scalise necessarily and 2 years of the type of speech you played. If that's true, then there's no connection between Trump being sort of over the top in some of his rallies and this incident to what extent, but that's not what we're getting. We're getting an asymmetrical idea that when progressives use edgy speech, it has no concrete ramifications, and when a conservative doesn't say nearly as much as violent rhetoric, it does. And I just don't think that's a proposition people can accept, and if it were true, then you would see tomorrow, just think of it, Maxine Waters, Joe Biden, Eric Holder, they would just cease all of their violent speech, all of their rhetoric for the next 2 years because they've made the argument in the case of Trump that we will lead to something. But I don't think they will cease it. And if you do think that we need to curb our speech, there's ways to deter it. If you say, you know what, you cannot imagine, promote, advocate the killing or the assassination of the president, cutting his head off, burning him up, blowing him off. We don't want that, and you might have to take a time out. You'll have a 90-day cooling off period and no-fly list on flights. I think that would stop it tomorrow if you believe that was necessary, or if you had somebody go to campus and you get physical. These are very elite people. They have clear trajectories. They're quite ambitious. Maybe you could charge them with a felony, or the people in the streets of Portland, and that would deter it if you wanted to do that. So we have mechanisms to make the argument between violent, edgy speech and violent acts.
Well, I want to give another example, Victor. Yeah, I want to give us, I'm sorry to interrupt, I want to give another example of some of the violent, edgy speech. Barack Obama, when he came on the campaign trail, magnetic speaker, historic. This was 2008. I remember this well. This was in Philadelphia, June 13th. If they bring a knife to the fight, we bring a gun. Because from what I understand, folks in Philly like a good brawl. I've seen Eagles fans.
Where Lewis Hamilton will be.
I know he doesn't really, I know he doesn't really mean he wants to bring a gun to a fight. But again, if a conservative says something like that, it's how dare you're the puppet of the NRA. How dare you say this? So like everyone's like walking on tenterhooks if you're on the right. But if you're on the left, cut his head off, get in their face, make Susan Collins cower in an elevator, and then you get the hero's welcome at the next Grammys.
And that was very influential because Cory Booker channeled Barack Obama when he advocated people getting to use Barack Obama's words that he embraced, get in their faces in the way that Eric Holder also talked about taking a gun to a knife fight. So they were influential, but I agree with you. They didn't result in concrete action.
Victor, we'll see you on radio tomorrow, I hope. And up next, more on those devices sent to various Democrats around the country and what they could tell us perhaps about the perpetrator. We're into the facts next up.
Today, back pain can't win. Now introducing Aleve Back and Muscle Pain. Only Aleve targets tough pain for up to 12 hours with just one pill. Aleve Back and Muscle, all day strong, all day long.
Call 1-800-SANDALS.
For the aches and pains that stop you in your tracks, Tommy's got your back. Tommy Copper's revolutionary pro-grade shoulder shirt, now available in long sleeve, delivers pain-relieving compression to your shoulders and the muscles along your spine.
The Tommy Copper shoulder shirt has double support panels that bring our shoulders back to a neutral position, which helps reduce the pain in the lower back and back and shoulders.
Visit TommyCopper.com to see all the ways we can help relieve your pain. Go now and save 25%. Tommy's got your back.
Millions of people across the country are losing weight and improving their health. What do we all have in common? Nutrisystem.
Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. It's your favorite foods made healthier.
No counting, no measuring, no weigh-ins.
Order your 28-day plan and save 40% off every program.
Join the millions who have lost weight and improved their health. Go online right now.
Order Nutrisystem now for a limited time. Save 40% off every program, plus get probiotic shakes free.
There's never enough time in the day, right? I have all these vegetables to chop before dinner. I have to hang up all these pictures and load these tires in my car. For times like these, I like to use Tackle's Build Your Own Job feature. Simply type an explanation of the job and list a fair price.
News of wins
and
for
in less
Chelsea
than
and
an hour,
Arsenal
a background
in
check
Europa
provider is there to help. Then your problem is solved. Just go to tackle.com
This sports
or
bulletin is
download
brought
the
to
free
you by
Tackle app
Vitality.
today. So make time for what's most important in your life. That's
For life insurance,
Canada is #1 again and again. No one does it better. In this charged political season, there is only one candidate.
Hamilton made to wait. Formula One's championship leader misses a chance to wrap up a 5th world title. Jose loses his cool. Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho involved in a touchline spat on his return to Chelsea. And new number 1, Brooks Koepka becomes golf's
Mary
world
Barzy
leader
Flores
after
talks up her
victory at the
experience
CJ
as a
Cup.
judge. What she doesn't mention is that her
Also,
mistreatment
we'll
of a
hear
juror
from
led to a
Zlatan
convicted
Ibrahimovic
murderer's
on
life
Galaxy
sentence being
and
thrown out, or how when 4-year-old
about the
Ralia
Olympic
Wilson went
legend
missing, prosecutors
today.
asked Barzy Flores to allow a polygraph of a criminal defendant to help find the missing child. Shockingly, Barzy Flores said no. Little Ralia Wilson has never been found. When it mattered most, Barzy Flores did not protect us.
But was overtaken by Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen before the first corner. He went on to finish 3rd, Raikkonen winning the race. Title rival Sebastian Vettel finished 4th, but the title was not decided. Hamilton will win the title if he finishes in the top 7 at the Mexico Grand Prix.
It was epic. It was actually really exciting.
Fortunately, the devices
really
they've been able to examine so far appear to have been poorly made. They apparently contain a number of flaws. Taped to the side, an electrical circuit, apparently a timer, though its exact function isn't yet understood. Nor is it clear what was supposed to set the packages off.
More often, but the way
Reports
these cars are
tonight
designed,
reveal
even though
that
they're great
some
on
of
their
the
own,
suspected mail bombs addressed to high-profile Democrats were simply not capable of exploding. The others have yet to be analyzed, but it is thought that they will suffer from similar flaws. So what might any of this tell us about the motive and perhaps the skill of the perpetrator? Has this been hyped, or is the caution and the attention it's getting warranted? Joining us now to discuss is Danny Colson, a former Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI and was the lead agent investigating that horrific Oklahoma City bombing. And Ryan Morris is an explosives training expert, founder of Tripwire Operation Group. Ryan, given your expertise in this field, what can we take away from the fact that these devices appear, at least to what we know now, to be all duds?
And it's a case of as you were at the top of the table.
Well, Laura, I have 24 years as a police officer. I've been a bomb squad commander, a supervisory explosive specialist with the Department of Homeland Security. I've looked at thousands of x-rays. And today, when I saw the x-ray that was put out through the media, immediately, people that work with me every day at Tripwire, we looked at it and said there is no way in any form or fashion, the x-ray that we looked at, that device would function. And then when we look at the pictures that were put out there, the actual device itself, it looks very, as we term it, Mickey Mouse. The device, it was very crude. It's a PVC pipe. It's got a red and a black wire, very Hollywood. Indicators like what would be in a Hollywood movie. And then, of course, that timer, that digital timer that's present there. None of that would be, you know, what a real bomber would want to do. If it was a real bomber, Laura, it would be somebody that's going to send a device through the mail that would be victim actuated when it gets there. A timer is not an effective means of a deployment.
Danny, Chris Cuomo said something a little bit different about what he considered to be this, excuse me, Governor Cuomo, about this device. Let's watch.
And I told him
it is wrong to say, in my opinion, that these are fake bombs. There is a question as to whether or not the bombs were designed to detonate or to intimidate.
Do they have
the question is the motivation.
What the weather's doing around the world?
Danny.
That's
From
laughable. Laura, I commanded the Oklahoma bombing investigation, and I've been to bomb school, and I've been the victim of an IED. I know how these things work. And either this guy is the Alfred E. Newman of bomb makers, or he had no intention of these things going off. As your other guest said, this looks like a movie prop. And then you have to get to the point of what then is the purpose. And I tend to believe that the purpose is not to hurt anybody, because these things are not capable of injuring people, and that's verified by the technicians that have examined them. So then what is the story? I think it's theater. I think it's definitely theater, and I think it's messaging. And I think that is the distinction here. It's almost a joke. It's not a joke because we take it seriously. But this thing is not a bomb. It doesn't have the components of a bomb. No bomber makes a bomb out of PVC pipe because it doesn't restrict the explosion and cause it to accelerate and hurt people. So it looks more like a movie prop, and the whole thing is designed for a theater. It's like a firebug who sets a fire so he can see the fire trucks come. It's almost like that, or some kind of messaging. And I think that's where we're going to find out once the FBI and ATF and the NYPD resolve this thing. I think that's where we're going.
Danny, I was talking to a friend of mine who's always on these Israeli message boards today, and he said, I guess the guys who do the stuff you guys do in Israel were just not laughing at what is horrible and it scares people, but what you guys said, it just looks ridiculous. Like anyone who wants to do harm does not construct something in this type of, it looks like, I guess one of them said it looked like a flashlight connected with a, like a little baby alarm clock or something. It just looked absurd. So what does this tell us, perhaps, Danny, about motivation, other than I want to get attention?
Well, I think that's a great question. I think it's one of two things, and I'm probably not going to be popular for saying this, but it's either to send a message to these people that we're watching you and we're coming after you and trying to intimidate them, or it's maybe even possibly to create sympathy for them. And I don't know where it's going to come out. But
Ryan,
those are
let's
two
get Ryan in. Sorry, let's get Ryan in on this. Ryan, motivation, given, as you guys described, kind of the prop-like quality, Mickey Mouse quality of these devices.
The only thing would be to intimidate or to cause fear or panic initially here. I can't, these aren't functional devices. They send them all over the place, in my opinion as well, and I agree with your other guests. These devices are just meant to intimidate or cause fear.
Well, but Chuck Todd, we just have to play this one soundbite, guys. Chuck Todd on MSNBC said this today. It's real quick.
I have this fear that it could be some Russian operation, too, designed to do what's happening now.
I'm just saying it is
dividing us.
Danny, Russians.
Well, the Russians make really good bombs, and most people I dealt with in my career, they all make good bombs too. This was not a bomb. It's a fake. It's a prop, and the motive we'll find out. The FBI will find this guy. There's so much opportunities to collect evidence, and the fact that they have so many devices that are intact, they will take those devices apart, and they'll trace the components back to the guy who built it.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Fascinating stuff. And could this be the end of the line for lawyer to the porn stars Michael Avenatti? A blistering criminal referral against him was just handed to DOJ by Senator Chuck Grassley. Details next.
Clear. There's an elbow pad in here, but that's about it.
It was getting to be a struggle to get in and out of the tub.
Yeah, we were really worried about falling.
And we needed a solution to stay safe in our own home.
So we got an American Standard walk-in bath.
American Standard is celebrating over 140 years in business with our best offer on our walk-in tubs.
They have a lifetime warranty on the bath, the installation, including the labor. I've never heard of that before.
American Standard has the only walk-in bath with over 20 comfort and safety features, including an ultra-low entryway, 44 massaging jets to help relieve aches and pains, and our patented technology which rapidly drains the tub so you can exit quickly. Other brands can leave you sitting in the cold. So call now for your free information kit. For a limited time, get $1,500 in savings, including a free American Standard right height toilet.
Don't delay. Call 1-800-425-8414 for your free information kit and $1,500 in savings, including a free toilet. That's 1-800-425-8414.
The FBI continues its investigation of pipe bombs mailed to
I used to fight depression with medications. Then, my doctor prescribed Neurostar.
Neurostar is an FDA-cleared therapy that helps activate the natural function of the brain. It should not be used in patients with certain metal or devices in or around the head. The most common side effect is temporary pain or discomfort at or near the treatment site. There's a rare risk of seizure. Talk to your doctor if you have worsening depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions.
Visit Neurostar.com. Talk to a doctor to see if Neurostar is right for you.
Wireless for $15 a month. That's not right.
It's right, all right.
Finger dipping?
That's not right.
That did look good.
This was the scene a short time ago in New York. We know an area of the Time Warner building was evacuated by police following reports of two unattended packages.
Neither is the way you get wireless. Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless and made it right. We're easy, online, and just $15 a month. Get your plan today at mintmobile.com.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. SoClean.com is the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Call now to try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-610-4795
early morning visit
or visit SoClean.com today.
Suspicious device taken in an entertainment vehicle for further investigation.
The stage is set.
In Delaware, the same thing.
Two legendary franchises
This place is
in a matchup for the ages.
Over the last few days, others have been posted to prominent Democrats, including the Clintons,
Manny Machado and the Dodgers.
Former CIA Director John Brennan at CNN's offices.
Tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern,
All the
4:30
devices,
Pacific,
one of which
Fox and the
exploded,
Fox
have
Sports
been
app.
similar. Plastic pipes, broken shards of glass, all packed into pallid envelopes. It's prompted a frantic
bombshell criminal referral dropped by the Senate Judiciary Committee today calls for a criminal investigation into the accusations against Brett Kavanaugh made by Michael Avenatti and Julie Swetnick. Joining us to discuss the details is Fox News Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry. Ed, what is the latest tonight?
Laura, good to see you. More trouble for Michael Avenatti, starting with the fact that Senate Judiciary Chair Chuck Grassley is pressing the Justice Department to investigate whether he and his client, Julie Swetnick, conspired to provide false statements to Congress and tried to obstruct the Senate investigation during that confirmation battle over Justice Kavanaugh. Swetnick alleged without any corroborating evidence that Kavanaugh was involved in gang rapes during high school, but then gave varying accounts. Grassley declaring in the criminal referral to the Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the FBI Director Chris Wray, quote, in the heat of partisan moment, some do try to knowingly mislead the committee. That's unfair to my colleagues, the nominees, and others, providing information who are seeking the truth. It stifles our ability to work on legitimate lines of inquiry. We can't just brush aside potential violations. I don't take lightly making a referral of this nature, but ignoring this behavior will just invite more of it in the future. Now, in a brief interview today with Fox, Avenatti lashed out at Grassley, saying this is clearly political, and then he added this at a news conference in New York.
We welcome the investigation requested by Senator Grassley, who obviously has no idea what he's just done. What he has effectively done is he has now opened up a Pandora's box, and my client and I are very much looking forward to a full and complete investigation.
Though now some on the left appear to be turning on Avenatti and his dream of running for president, VanityFair.com running a piece mocking the lawyer for suffering two setbacks this week. One, a multi-million-dollar judgment for failing to repay a debt to a former colleague. The other, a court order evicting him from his Newport Beach offices after not paying rent for 4 months. Vanity Fair declared, quote, both lawsuits suggest a downright accompanying habit of racking up debts and evading responsibility when the bill came due. An interesting tweets basically attacking Grassley and Kavanaugh today from Planned Parenthood Action and NARAL, which put together the same exact statement declaring, quote, we still believe Julie Swetnick, hashtag believe survivors. That led conservatives to tweet back, what about believing alleged survivors of rape and sexual assault instead of accused Democrats like Juanita Broaddus?
Thanks so much, Ed. And joining us now is former federal prosecutor John Lauro. John, thanks for being here tonight. Now, you called this referral substantial. Tell us
those
why.
who receive it are more likely
it reads like a prosecution memo, which really lays out a compelling case, particularly against Ms. Swetnick. And what Senator Grassley has done, he's very careful, by the way, and very thorough. But he lays out a case where she submitted an affidavit, and I have it here before me, where she makes very specific allegations that Brett Kavanaugh, she became aware, was involved in spiking punch, was involved in targeting vulnerable women, young women, and actually participating in gang rapes. Now, that's what she submitted under oath.
This is the first time a universal credit
and then later she goes on TV and says, you know, I really don't remember any of that, and thoroughly contradicts her affidavit. So what Grassley says is, listen, you can't submit a sworn statement to my committee and then go on TV and say something that's contradictory to that. That warrants an investigation of perjury and obstruction of justice. And frankly, I read it. This is a compelling document, and I think the FBI and the Department of Justice is going to investigate this.
So, John, the statutes involve
making it easier for us to
a number of them, false statements,
for us to end a call
18 U.S.C. 1001,
who does what job, so that we can
18 U.S.C. 1505, obstruction of a congressional investigation, and then 18 U.S.C. 371, conspiracy. Obviously, the two of them working together. There we go. Perhaps with others.
So there was.
There might be even more. I mean, this is just the very beginning of what we're seeing here. And I think it's really important that Senator Grassley does this, John, because
do everything in your power
otherwise,
to get them to hang up
any
the phone
nominee who they want to stop,
the Department for Work and
it'll just be, oh, I heard this, and oh no, I remember this 25 years ago, and oh yeah, this, and this the worst, most horrible accusations, unsubstantiated. Why not? There's no price to be paid. I'd go after this Feinstein leak too. They should do a full and thorough investigation of Feinstein, and some of my friends were saying, maybe even some of the other accusers in this case. Did Christine Ford tell the truth? I don't know. But a lot of friends of Kavanaugh are very upset about this and think there was a lot of lying going on.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And what Senator Grassley is saying is you have to have respect for the process. When you submit a sworn affidavit to my committee, I expect it to be truthful. And if it's not, then you're going to suffer the penalties under criminal law. The other thing that Avenatti refused to do is allow Swetnick to be investigated by the committee, and that's very unusual if these allegations had some substance to them. But essentially what Senator Grassley is saying is you can't lie and disrupt corruptly my committee proceedings. And by the way, if that rule of law is not maintained, then the whole process becomes a sham. So he's doing exactly what he needs to do to ensure that justice is done.
He's a
showboating viper, if you ask me. Avenatti on with Casey Hunt back on September 30th. He was always promising, like that going out of business sale on the rug, the rug store, the Oriental rug store. We're going out of business. We lost our lease, and then it never goes out of business. He's always promising corroborating witnesses, and they never occur. Watch.
That's a really big problem.
Are you aware of any people or potential witnesses who were at these parties who could corroborate your story?
Many witnesses. I've spoken to many witnesses. I've been clear for the last week that there are corroborating witnesses. We just didn't make this up out of whole cloth. I mean, I didn't just reach into the ether and find some woman to sign a false declaration.
While the number of those in work is growing, the number of workers
one corroborating witness
is growing faster.
And instead just a baseless accusation that almost destroyed a man's life.
Credit,
all right, thanks so much. And John, we really appreciate it. And last night's debate between Andrew Gillum and Ron DeSantis in Florida revealed a troubling truth. When in a jam, Democrats cry racism.
Let me tell you that later on today we're going to have a special report from Nick Martin on universal credit. That is inside
One movie's on the critics' radar.
What is that?
Hunter Killer is electrifying, immersive, thought-provoking,
and
ridiculously entertaining. Very good. Now we're talking Hunter Killer. Rated R in theaters tonight.
Including those in
heartburn and gas.
Like the SAS and Royal Marines. Not everyone
fight both fast. Tums Chewy Bites with gas relief. All-in-one relief of heartburn and gas. Tums Chewy Bites with gas relief.
A military display of prowess.
People with type 2 diabetes are excited about the potential of once-weekly Ozempic. In a study with Ozempic, a majority of adults lowered their blood sugar and reached an A1C of less than 7 and maintained it.
Oh,
under 7? And you may lose weight. In the same one-year study, adults lost on average up to 12 pounds.
Oh, up to 12 pounds?
A 2-year study showed that Ozempic does not increase the risk of major cardiovascular events like heart attack, stroke, or death.
Oh, no increased risk?
Ozempic should not be the first medicine for treating diabetes or for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not share needles or pens. Don't reuse needles. Do not take Ozempic if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Ozempic. Stop taking Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, itching, rash, or trouble breathing. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis. Tell Tell your doctor if you have diabetic retinopathy or vision changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase the risk for low blood sugar. Common side effects are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, and constipation. Some side effects can lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
I discovered the potential with Ozempic.
Ask your healthcare provider if Ozempic is right for you.
Why is Old Dominion #1 in customer satisfaction? Maybe it's OD's over 99% on-time rate, or our decades of supply chain experience that support the dynamic digital marketplace, or because when we promise something, we keep our promise. The reason OD is #1 in customer satisfaction is our people, who never stop working to make your shipping easier. Old Dominion, helping the world keep promises.
Last time I bought a used car, I ended up paying too much. It's pretty embarrassing for me and my whole family. The car had multiple owners and accidents. That website didn't know.
Carfax has it better. At Carfax.com, you get the most accurate price based on the Carfax report, so you never have to overpay on a used car again.
This is clearly an evolving military force.
Stop the shame of overpaying and start your used car search today at the all-new Carfax.com.
Adele Robinson, Sky News, Salisbury Plain.
The question is, did you pay for the Hamilton ticket, or did the undercover FBI agent pay for the Hamilton ticket?
I'm a hard-working person. I know that may not fit your description of what you think people like me do, but I work hard for everything that I've gotten in my life, and I don't need anybody handing me anything for free.
And that exchange points to what has become an uncomfortable truth for some GOP candidates this cycle. If you criticize a Democrat, you might just get tagged a racist. Is an honest debate even still possible? Joining me now with her reaction, Candace Owens, who is the communications director for Turning Point USA. Candace, do you see this as just a convenient ploy? The left is doing it. Gillum obviously got in a big jam with these perhaps potential bribe of a real estate developer. The FBI was clearly surveilling him, and he was willing to take these, tickets and other things. That's the question. It's nothing to do with his race and what color his skin is.
Yeah, I think when the argument is lost, they result to ad hominem attacks. And here's what I don't like about this. I feel like it really reinforces the bigotry of low expectations for the black community. Meaning, apparently we can't win based off of our own merit. We can't win a race based off of our own ideas. So what are we going to do? We're going to cry victim. We're going to say that we are being attacked because of the color of our skin. It's nasty and it's negative and it's plainly wrong. I also think it's a show of weakness from Andrew Gillum.
Yeah, he's kind of the new, the new thing in the Democrat Party. He's a new superstar.
Right.
I think he's trying to be almost an Obama-type figure. He's got a homespun. He gets on stage, and that's kind of charismatic.
Right.
Except when you look at the state of Florida, Tallahassee in particular, Tallahassee is the real problem city. He's been running Tallahassee.
Right.
And DeSantis said, if we want San Francisco to come to Florida, then yay. But you can't even say that, apparently.
Right. I mean, if you want Venezuela to come to Florida, then he's truly pushing a socialist platform right now, which should terrify everybody. And he thinks, I'm going to be able to get away with this because I'm black, and I'm willing to throw down the black card. The black card needs to be expired, needs to be ripped up. You win based on good ideas, not because of the color of your skin in this country.
Candace, you had a really interesting event today with Turning Point. I got to see the pictures that Donnie Trump tweeted out. I think it was Donnie Trump tweeted out tonight. What was going on today?
We are having a massive young black leadership summit, all conservatives wearing MAGA hats, and the energy in that room, I can't even tell you. It's here. I love it. Stop it. And look, Black America is tired of being the victims that the left uses to gain power in this country, and we are here and showing up, and the president will address us tomorrow.
Wow, what time is that happening? I don't get any of the invitations.
11 a.m. and it's going to be at the White House, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say because this crowd is fired up. I mean, they're shouting "Lock her up." It's really, it was something to be seen tonight.
There's not enough media coverage of interesting candidates. There's a Republican Muslim candidate in California who's running, Omar Qudrat. I might be getting his name wrong, but it's a difficult race, but it's fascinating. obviously have John James running for Senate. John James, unbelievable, veteran, incredibly smart, combat pilot. But it's like he doesn't exist. Well, they don't know what to do.
Right. Well, because they think that there's something proprietary about black people. So when black people deviate, when I say they, I'm referring to the left. When black people deviate from what they think that we should think, they try to ignore us and to shove us under the rug. But I think time's up on that. I'm calling time's up on that.
What about college campuses? I know Turning Point does an enormous amount to fan out to college campuses. And this is something we've needed for so long. We have college conservative newspapers. Even those have been under assault. What has been the reaction? I know sometimes you get stuff thrown at you, but where's the badge of honor? As long as it's not going to hurt you or anything. But what's been the reaction among especially minority students when they talk to you, they see you, they meet you?
I mean, you're nice, you're fun. I know, you're fun. In the beginning, last semester, we were met with so much protesting. The entire game has changed. I mean, they're wearing MAGA hats. They're saying thank you. They're jumping up and mocking Beto for pretending to be Hispanic. We have a large Hispanic following, so something's working. They're starting to say maybe it's because Kanye West put on the MAGA hat, and people are starting to pursue different ideas. But this country is changing. I'm telling you. And listen, I say this all the time. Black Americans have nothing to fear when Donald Trump says he's going to make America great. We are Americans too.
Well, I think you're a weapon. You're a weapon in a good way, and I love it. I just love it. I love what you're doing. Thanks so much for being here. It's great to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
I might crash your event tomorrow. How do drug cartels operate inside caravans like the one we see approaching the U.S. border? Is it really happening? And what connection do they have to international terrorism? The former head of special ops for the DEA is here next. He has some shocking revelations. Stay there.
This program is brought to you by Salonpas, a real plus when fighting pain.
When tough pain strikes, don't tough it out. Try this first. New Salonpas Patch Large. They're twice the size as before with the power to target large pain areas. Make Salonpas your first choice for tough pain relief.
American Horror Story Apocalypse, all new Wednesday at 10 on FX. See it ad-free. Upgrade to FX Plus.
I'm Kelsey Grammer. My dad was gunned down at his home at the age of 38. 6 years later, my sister Karen was brutally raped and murdered. She was 18. When my father's killer was released, I found out through the National Enquirer. It seemed like a cruel
Residents
joke.
on Mexico's
in my sister's case,
have begun
I have been
up
allowed a
the
voice in the parole hearings of her killers. But
The
that's not
storm
always
ripped
true
through
in
the
Florida.
town overnight,
Amendment 6 gives crime victims and their families a voice in the process, and the equal
Willa
rights they
hit the
deserve.
northwestern state of Sinaloa
Please
late
vote
on
yes on
Tuesday.
Amendment 6.
For decades, gambling issues were decided by Florida voters. Then, politicians took that power for themselves. Amendment 3 will return the power to the people, so casinos can't buy gambling
Indonesia's
licenses in
second-largest city
Tallahassee,
has come
and
up with a novel way
politicians
to
can focus on
encourage
more
residents to
important
recycle
issues.
waste.
Amendment
Giving
3
free bus rides
restores
in
voter
exchange for used
control of
plastic
gambling,
bottles.
reducing
Under the scheme
casino
launched by
corruption,
Surabaya
holding
in
the
April,
line on
commuters
gambling,
can ride
and
red city buses by
empowering
dropping off plastic
Vote
bottles
yes
at terminals
on
or
Amendment
directly
3.
paying a fare with bottles. A 2-hour bus ticket costs 10 plastic pots or up to 5 plastic bottles, depending on their size, which the city hopes will help it meet an ambitious target of free of plastic by 2020.
So you can drive
City
home
data
in
shows that 15%,
like a new
or nearly
2018
400 tons,
Sport for
of
just
Surabaya's daily waste is
$15.90.
plastic.
Or drive one home for just $111 a month, or 2 for $222.
The Philippines has
and if you
reopened
have
its
a
top
job making
tourist lure,
$450 per week,
the island
we can
of
approve your
Boracay.
credit.
The
Only
beauty
in Fort
spot has
Myers
been
and
closed
Bonita
for 6
Springs,
months,
Mitsubishi.
whilst an intensive cleanup
Now through
to
Monday,
overhaul its
$12 a
overwhelmed
month,
road,
interest-free.
waste and water
That's your
systems has
low
been going
monthly
on.
payment at Rooms
The
to Go
new
for
and cleaner
everything you're
Boracay
about to see.
will now
Over
have stricter
100
rules
perfect
to
fits,
try and
just
maintain
$12 a month
environmental
for a
standards,
sofa and
according
love
to
seat
the
set,
tourism
a
secretary.
sectional, sleeper
Tourists
sofas,
will have to
a
say
double
goodbye
reclining
to beach
sofa,
parties on water
$12 a month for
sports
5-piece
when the
dining
White
sets,
Sand Resort
5-piece
reopens.
bedrooms, accent
Drinking
cabinets,
and smoking in
consoles, a
public
complete
places will
queen
be
bed
banned,
with mattress,
along
just
with late-night
$5.99 or
parties.
$12
The
a
number
month
of
for
visitors
50
will be
months,
capped
interest-free.
at 6,000
Now through Monday at
$405
Rooms to
arrivals
Oh.
Go.
a day, and only
the sunshine,
19,000 tourists
this weather.
will be allowed there at
That's
any
the only
one
reason
time.
why people love to live in Florida. It's the jobs, it's the opportunities. I'm Jimmy Petronis, your Chief Financial Officer.
Chinese entrepreneur is reviving old ways of bookmaking
and I'm going to keep it that way.
Into growing demand for niche handmade goods from China's young affluent consumers. Now one started his business selling handmade iron versions of the famous
weather helps,
cooking pan 3 years ago near his home village in the center of Hubei province.
Join Jimmy for
He was inspired during a visit to a Japanese art workshop in Beijing.
Oh, the Trump administration has come under fire for calling out the potentially dangerous members of that caravan making its way up through Mexico. It's another one on its way, too. Now, since drug cartels control the illegal flow of nearly everything moving through Latin America, we want to know how they actually still might be influencing this caravan, even though they say there's strength in numbers of people. Joining us now is Derek Maltz. He's a former DEA Special Ops Division head. And Derek, we really appreciate you being here. I've been waiting to talk to you. Is a caravan of this size a threat? It's described as this is just a sea of humanity wanting a better life. But what could be embedded in this caravan?
Well, we have a national emergency right now, as far as I'm concerned, Laura. I mean, first of all, the terrorists are tapping into the criminal networks for funding. That's number one. Drugs are generating like $400 billion a year around the world. And right now, we have young kids dying from the poison every single day. We have about every 11 minutes, we have somebody dying from an opioid overdose, right? So we have mass amounts of people coming into our country with disease, with crime, with drugs. And you know what? We have to put it to the end. Thank God President Trump has stepped up and has sent the troops down there to kind of help us. Now, 11 years ago, we had a case against a very big arms trafficker. This particular guy wanted to get 100 passports for Middle Easterners. That's 11 years ago. These organizations don't just wait. They actually are planning to get people here in this country to do very bad things. That's the bottom line.
Obviously, we're in the background.
At one point, they found, I think, 100 Bangladeshis. Most of those probably, wanted to work in the country, but they found Bangladeshis, even Somalis, in the area where the caravan was gathering. When it's 4,000 people, maybe 5,000 people. That's a lot of people. And if everybody at one time is approaching a border checkpoint, some of them will go through the regular port of entry, some will just walk across, but they basically get processed and released into the country after they're coached, correct?
And exactly. And I mean, you look at like El Salvador, you look at Guatemala, you look at Honduras. These are some of the most violent countries in the region.
That's why they say they want to leave.
Right, they want to leave, but they want to come here and they want our taxpayers to pay for their babies, pay for their food, pay for their college, and then all our kids and all the hardworking Americans have to pay the bill. And what about the diseases that are coming in from Africa? What about some of these like new,
from the clear blue
like
sky
the TBs and all these different?
No one talks about the health implications. The financial implications are enormous. The health implications, I think, the media.
So it's all changed today. A strong northerly wind bringing much colder conditions and some wintry showers.
Like for
it will be a chilly and showery start for many, but southern Britain will be quite mild, with patchy rain extending from Cornwall to the Wash.
Chagas.
The rain will clear the south during the morning, leaving a mix of sunshine and heavy showers for most. There will be hail and thunder in places, with sleet and snow may be confined to northern hills, much colder than recently with a chilly wind. The afternoon will bring further showers, but they will become increasingly confined to northern, eastern and west.
Okay? They also use planes. They also use huge cargo containers. So the idea that you're a wall away from stopping the drug problem is also untrue.
What's your view on that?
Well, my view is that the wall alone is not going to stop the drug cartels. They are a business enterprise that wants to make money. They're going to figure out ways to get the stuff into the country. They have tunnels. Chapo Guzman and Sinaloa cartel was building tunnels many, many years ago. But if there's a wall that they can't climb over or can't drive a car over, we're going to be able to prevent them from getting into this country like they are right now. Go talk to the farmers. Cuomo. The board.
Cleaning light residues or to pre-clean prior to wet cleaning. B. Wet cleaning, an effective cleaning method for removing moderate to heavy residues. C. Foam cleaning, used for upholstery fabrics that might shrink or bleed if wet clean. D. All of the above. Find out the answer after this commercial message.
Life happens everywhere, like it never even happened. Only happens here. The cleanup and restoration specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com.
The answer is D. All of the above would be acceptable cleaning methods used by ServPro, depending on the type of damage sustained during a fire. This tip was brought to you by ServPro, helping make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. SoClean.com is the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Call now to try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-610-4795 or visit SoClean.com today.
What is luxury? A state of mind, free time, a villa, a vista. That place you love, it's more than you expect. It's perfection, it's opulence, it's service. All included, all the time. Fulfill your desires. No limits, all lavish. Chic days, posh nights, live your dreams. Elegant, royal. Fulfilled. 2 hearts, 5 stars, 1 name. Sandals. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
The US remains on high alert after more mail bombs are found.
Throughout my life, I've always tried to be there for the people around me. Now, things have changed. I'm so grateful to have an angel
to find out where they originated.
Who truly cares for me.
British businessman trying to stop a newspaper
it's so rewarding to be a
sexual harassment and racist behaviour, which he denies. We travel
part of his life and make a difference when he needs it the most.
With thousands of migrants trying to get to America, as President Trump says he'll send troops to stop
America's choice and home care.
Tired of food. Sticking to the pan? Not anymore. Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with Gotham Steel.
The move towards military equality as women get the right to fight in combat roles in Britain's armed forces.
Newest technology in non-stick cookware made with ceramic and super strong titanium. Stronger than ever before. It's literally like cooking on air. Everything slides
right off. Plus, use metal and never make a scratch ever. Use
the mail bomb scare sweeping America. This was the scene a short time ago in New York, where an area of the Time Warner building was evacuated by
Steel in the oven to up to 500 degrees. Even fire won't damage Gotham Steel.
Available at fine retailers and at GothamSteelStore.com.
This was a false alarm. So just a precaution there. However, just typical of the
dining with Ducey, and Steve is whipping up his favorite dishes with fans. Let's hope this goes well. Brought to you by Cuisinart. Savor the good life.
Which have the authorities at full stretch. We do know at least
it's time for the last
mail bombs fight discovered so far.
Today's news about Michael Avenatti, Julie Swetnick, reminding us about an interview we had with Swetnick's ex. About 3 weeks ago. Let's take a look. Did she ever discuss with you in your 7-year relationship, was from 1994 to 2001,
from the bomb squad,
the issue of sexual assault, or did she mention ever having been sexually assaulted?
In Delaware, the same thing.
Never once she mentioned that to me. If anybody knows Julie Swetnick, I know. She is, if you ask
me
personally,
if I believe her,
I don't believe her.
Including the Clintons,
that's all right.
Barack
Michael
Obama,
Avenatti is going to fix
former
the whole
CIA
thing.
Director John
That's all the
Brennan
time we have tonight.
CNN's
Shannon Bream and the Fox News at Night team.
All the
Take it from
none
here.
of which
Shannon, who are you
exploded,
rooting
have
for
been
in the
similar.
series?
I'm out. I'm just going to say that my heart is broken on many levels, but I will tell you this. I did a Twitter poll, which is completely non-scientific, but I asked our followers out there whether they thought Michael Avenatti or Chuck Grassley would win in this fight. It's a landslide, but I won't tell you. I'll let you guess who they think is going to win. We'll see. All right. Thank you, Laura.
As well as the investigation.
All right, we begin with the Fox News alert. Breaking news tonight. The bomb scares continue as investigators work to find a suspect and a motive. Tonight, a Central Florida courthouse evacuated after a suspicious package showed up there, and police investigating a mail sorting facility in the Miami-Dade area. We are just getting the all clear tonight from the NYPD after yet another suspicious package was found at the Time Warner Center in
Phillips says he categorically denies any unlawful, sexual or racist behavior.
Ones he had seen on TV. Shannon.
Peggy Heinrich on the scene in New York. Thank you very much.
It will revolve around
in the wake of the suspected explosive devices mailed to numerous high-profile figures on the left, President Trump taking aim at a familiar target. Fake news. And not surprisingly, there's been plenty of pushback. Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry is here with the latest reaction. Hi, Ed.
Shannon, good to see you. Breaking tonight, tension only building between the president and the media, particularly CNN tonight, as Donald Trump Jr. is calling the network out for non-stop attacks on the presidential family. The president's son first retweeting this chyron that appeared on CNN's screen today, just about 24 hours after the attempted bombing at their headquarters. CNN saying on screen, quote, Trump has no plan to claim any responsibility for inciting serial bomber. That despite the fact that investigators still do not know very much of anything about motive or who's responsible for these attempted attacks. And since CNN correspondent Jim Acosta griped that the president did not mention CNN at his rally last night, and Acosta called him out for not taking responsibility for his rhetoric, yet
whistleblowing. But it is clear some employers are using them unethically. And the government is going to bring forward measures for consideration for consultation.
Donald Trump Jr. then tweeted at Acosta tonight, Jim,
around non-disclosure agreements.
Did you or your colleagues take any responsibility for your rhetoric in constantly calling my family
are often used in the corporate
racist
world to prevent
and Nazis for
industrial
2 years
secrets being shared.
when my wife actually opened
but
an
they've also been
exploding
used by the likes of Harvey Weinstein and the organizers of the notorious President's Club to silence victims. These agreements
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Hey, this guy's got a wallet with some money and whatnot in here. Do you want all that? What you got, Bob?
I'll be right there.
Where you at?
Noon, and my shift superintendent, Mont Swan.
I'll be here.
Thank you.
Anybody been extracted from the vehicle?
But reporters on the ground say the 4,000 or so that are continuing to move north have
touched Donald Trump's heart. He is a president who prides himself on taking a hard line on immigration, and these images won't sit well with
Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen explained to Martha McCallum how the troops would be used.
This is what we're seeing. Just
to watch.
What we've asked them to do is help to bolster our capabilities.
Loads of people passing through.
We've asked for some air support, for some logistics, some planning, vehicle barriers, engineering. Ways in which we can make sure that I can protect my officers and agents as well as
their personal details compromised during a cyber attack. The group said in a stock exchange announcement that as part of an investigation.
It's unclear if the U.S. troops would be armed or if they would engage with the migrants in any capacity. Today, the president sent a message directly to the people coming north, quoting here, to those in the caravan, turn around. We are not.
Facebook has been fined £500,000 by the UK's data protection watchdog,
letting people into the United States.
Data scandal. The Information Commissioner's Office said Facebook had let a serious breach of the law take place. The website said
we're getting threats this week. Congressman Carlos Corbello got a death threat via social media. His office says today they notified U.S. Capitol Police who quickly identified the individual. And a Republican running for Congress in New Jersey shared this photo on Twitter of a letter he received which allegedly made threats against his children. The letter was also apparently delivered with a torn-up penis. All right, well, one of the Democrats targeted in the suspected explosive device mailings, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, is blasting President Trump, saying he should take responsibility for political violence.
Meghan were greeted with cheers.
He is expert at lying and deceiving and, of course, encouraging people in his own way to be violent or to be racist or to be separatist.
So let's talk about it with tonight's Power Panel. Vice Chair of the DNC, Michael Blake, and President of the American Conservative Union, Matt Schlapp. Welcome to you both.
Has climbed one of London's tallest buildings without ropes on, only to get arrested at the top for causing a public nuisance. The 56-year-old took an hour to clamber up the 230-metre.
All right, Matt, what do you make of what Congresswoman Waters had to say there?
Yeah, this is just absolutely irresponsible. We've taken political differences, and there's plenty of those out there, actually too many. And the Trump haters are turning these acts, these bombs, this terrible.
We're to go on and make sure everything's good on both ends.
Disgusting. They're hateful. Right, and I think they're going to boomerang on the Democrats. Like, we should be taking a pause from politics. People's lives could be at stake. People could be harmed.
Several high-profile Democrat politicians and supporters. Barack Obama, Joe Biden. And now the actor Robert De Niro have been sent bombs to their homes or places of work. The paper reports the FBI are analysing explosive packages sent to prominent critics of the Trump administration. The Jerusalem Post reports that Israel has sent elite forces to Jordan after floods killed 18 people. The Israeli Defense Force
now, days away from the midterm, we're having this conversation about the president and his role.
School teachers were killed in a flash flood.
Well, first and foremost, we obviously say thank you to the first responders and those in uniform that are standing up for us in the face of these kind of crises. Now, it would be irresponsible for Matt to try to convey that he's just disregarding the truth when this is someone who actually had a tweet last month that is clear about race baiting. This is a part of a rhetoric that has existed on the other side that has been pure about fear. Now, look, let's be very clear about this. Yes, an investigation is happening right now, but it would also be irresponsible for us to make it seem like Donald Trump has absolutely no responsibility in this at all. This is someone who has repeatedly been talking about slamming up borders.
But we're talking about someone who allegedly at this point has put together devices full of glass shards and powder to blow up in people's faces if they were indeed meant to detonate. You can't possibly be directly linking the president to that action.
I didn't, Shannon, and let's not go down that road of trying to put words in Democrats' mouth. I know that's what happened.
Not doing it, but you said, no, you said the president has to take some role for this.
Absolutely. So you're blaming the president. Let's just be clear. You're blaming the president's rhetoric.
Let's let Michael finish what he's saying, but I'm just saying, if you are pointing a finger at the president saying he bears some responsibility in that, I want to be clear about exactly what you're saying.
Yes, am I being abundantly clear that when you have someone that is calling the press enemies of the state, yes, there is responsibility in the rise rhetoric that is happening here. That is very different from trying to attribute it to actual bombing in that manner. However, let's be clear, Donald Trump has repeatedly been communicating this rhetoric, and for us to say that there is no bearing at all would be irresponsible.
So Matt, what connection is there?
None. And the fact is,
the president has said things about people in his rallies and saying,
Arabia. A fake Mohammed bin
during the locking people up, praising Congressman Gianforte, who got in trouble for body slamming another reporter. What part of that factors in?
Well, there's two things here. The first thing is the biggest characteristic at the rally, which the press in the last 24 hours has been condemning, is when Trump supporters say lock her up, meaning lock Hillary up, basically, which means
weeks after he stepped through its doors and was brutally murdered. This advisor to Turkey. Turkey's president was the first person Mr. Khashoggi's fiancée called when he disappeared.
Hillary Clinton accountable for her crimes. They're not saying blow her up. They're not saying she should be killed. They're simply saying there should be a just, legal response to the steps she took. They also have criticized him and the rally goers for saying CNN sucks. Well, guess what? CNN needs to be more balanced. And it's a huge leap and an irresponsible leap to say that those statements imply that they want these people to be killed or to get bombed. And that is the problem here. You have Eric Holder, the former chief law enforcement officer of the United States of America, the AG, saying it's okay to kick people like me. You have Hillary Clinton saying you don't have to be civil to people like me. You have Republicans being kicked out of restaurants and run out of civil society. You have candidates, Republican candidates, who have been stabbed, who have received death threats. The idea that this is about Donald Trump alone and about CNN alone is incorrect.
I want to play a little something. I want to play something
journalism caused concern for Saudi Arabia's rulers during his life. He's become far more of a threat to them in his
literally saying to conservative voters, look at this photo when talking about Democratic people of color, and making it seem like this is...
So I'm a racist. This is where you guys always go.
I want to keep this factual. Matt, what was the tweet, or Michael, if you want to tell us? It was a tweet.
Last month, there was a tweet sent out by me with a photo of 3 Democratic people of color, Democrats and people of color, and said conservative voters in these particular states, look at this photo. And so that's the epitome of race baiting.
I'd like to respond. I'd like to respond because every deplorable Trump supporter who is now listening to this interview can see that what Democrats do is they call us fascist and racist. And let's look at the facts. The facts are, you just called me racist, and the facts are that when those senators, including Dianne Feinstein, which was also mentioned in the tweet, I also talked about Anglo senator, Democrat senators who went after Brett Kavanaugh. I said their actions in attacking the reputation of Brett Kavanaugh were reprehensible, and you make it about race. I don't care what the color of the skin was of the people who went after. I don't care. Stop this. This is an irresponsible use of time on this show. It's a change of subject, and I quite frankly am not going to put up with it.
Okay, we're not here, but Michael and Matt, we appreciate both of you coming and weighing in, and we'd love to see you back soon. Thank you.
Expressed their outrage.
All right, President Trump proposes a new plan to lower drug prices as the midterm message war over health care heats up.
Relieved that Larissa had left
we
the
are here
island
to announce another bold and historic action to bring down the price of prescription drugs.
By saying it
and
understands
Chris Stirewalt is here to break down some key midterm races as millions of voters are already out there casting their ballots.
Fair game.
This field demonstrates the extent of the hunting challenge presented by a sheep. Not a very big one.
What's that, girl?
But it is legal.
Phone needs help.
All it takes is the permission of the owner of the land and the animals themselves.
Why aren't we taking roads?
As things stand, shooting, fishing and stalking are worth more than £150 million a year to the Scottish economy. Wildlife such as deer is also called for conservation and land management. So what's changed? What should change in future?
Welcome to Mitsubishi. Test drive?
Introducing the 2019 Mitsubishi I sought the view of the shooting fraternity in the shape of Colin Shedden. Now showing at a dealership near
target practice.
$3,000 cash back or 0% APR and test drive any crossover for a chance to win.
But not the goat.
Today, back pain can't win. Now introducing Aleve Back and Muscle Pain. Only Aleve targets tough pain for up to 12 hours with just one pill. Aleve Back and Muscle, all day strong, all day.
This is fracture. Just upload an image, place your order, and then show up at your door. You can print it directly on glass. And this isn't just another frame, or just another canvas. This isn't it. This is a fracture. Visit fractureme.com and print one today.
Smart news.
I was only watching news I agree with.
I was only getting news from social media.
Now, I use smart news. I get news from all sides before.
On November 6th, go vote. Download Smart News for free now and vote.
Never fly first class. Ruins flying and coach forever. And that's exactly
well, actually, we're all a bit sick of this. I mean, we just since this story came out, we've had a lot of death threats. I mean, we tend to get death threats anyway, and here I am, living proof. They didn't carry them out. She was just boarding a plane to go on a 2-week hunt in Australia, so unfortunately she's not available. But I think people have just got to learn now that healthy wildlife is being managed by the over 50,000 rifle certificate holders of the UK, or they have animals falling over dead in front of them when they look out of the window of their cars and their trains. It's their choice.
You may be entitled to a share of $30 billion set aside to compensate victims. Hi. My name is Todd Gill.
Okay, so a typical wildlife tourist will bring in pennies. A typical hunting tourist will bring in hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of pounds to an area. So please, let's say, look at my situation. I've got probably 30 deer living on my patch of wood in the West Country.
Or go to
measokit.com. I expect one of those will get run over, one will get killed by a fox, 2 or 3 will die in the cold. I'll be able to shoot 1 or 2. If somebody came along to me and said, I'll give you 1,000 quid to shoot one of those, as long as I'm satisfied that it's not going to have an impact on my rifle certificate, it's very difficult to get hold of. I'm very happy to take the money because I can get a chainsaw, I can do some woodland management, I can get a car. And I think Dominic's idea of send me £5 or the baby animal gets it just doesn't stack up for animal management. Doing what we do does.
Dominic, you're shaking your head.
I would disagree with that strongly. If you look at the issue, for example, of driven grouse shooting here in Britain, it has a massive detrimental impact on the environment. We're burning off large parts of grouse moors, which leads to runoff in terms of water and flooding and more carbon emissions that adds to climate change. We're seeing gamekeepers kill all the wildlife that comes near those grouse moors. So all the weasels, stoats and badgers are being killed, many illegally. Our most rare endangered birds of prey from golden eagles and hen harriers are being killed in this country illegally on these hunting estates. A lot of our uplands in Scotland, where all these deer are being killed for a small amount of elite hunters, stockbrokers, and people working in financial services and city jobs that have the amount of money to spend
Heading
to
into
kill
the
animals
midterms,
like
Democrats
this.
do not
We're creating a
want to focus on
wasteland.
the
It's no
caravan.
longer
They want to talk
a
about
great
health care.
wilderness
And while
for
they
these
claim
animals to
Republicans are
live.
weak
We're
on that
creating
big issue
false
with voters,
environments for
the
hunting, and I
president and
think that's
several
hugely
Republican candidates
detrimental
say
to local
they are eager
communities
to show
and
how
to the
ready they are to
conservation
tackle
and
health
to
care issues head
wildlife
on.
that we need to protect
Correspondent
in this
Leland Vittert
country.
looks into it for us tonight.
From the stump earlier this week to a White House event yesterday.
Together we are going to end the scourge of drug addiction in America.
To a major policy speech with the Health and Human Services Secretary today.
Today, we are here to announce another bold and historic action to bring down the price of prescription drugs.
To Twitter yesterday, saying Republicans will totally protect people with pre-existing conditions, Democrats will not. Vote Republican. With Obamacare at a 54% approval rating, the president's implicit message to Republicans, even in dark red states like Missouri, is they need to move left. And they are.
I'm Josh Hawley. I support forcing insurance companies to cover all pre-existing conditions.
And despite a past life running hospitals, Florida Governor and Senate candidate Rick Scott promises to protect the little guy.
My mom didn't have health care, or health insurance. You shouldn't be denied your health care insurance if you have a pre-existing condition. Bill Nelson has never done anything to improve health care other than make the costs go up, deductibles go up, premiums go up, and co-payments go up.
40% of Democrats and 31% of independents rank health care as the top issue this election cycle, compared to 17% of Republicans, forcing Republicans like Florida Governor candidate Rick DeSantis to try and paint Dems as moving too far left for those independents.
So you don't support Bernie Sanders' Medicare for all?
What I support is expanding Medicaid for over 800,000 Floridians.
All right, so if the best defense is a good offense, the Republicans have a lot of ground to make up in the less than 2 weeks before Election Day. A Washington Post poll shows voters trust Democrats over Republicans on health care, Shannon, by a 16-point margin.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about that and much more. Thank you, Leland Vittert. And we're also going to focus on 3 key, surprisingly tight midterm races with Fox News politics editor of the Halftime Report, Chris Starwell, also the author of the new bestseller, Every Man a King. Are you going to start showing up in a crown?
I do.
And like what is that?
But then they make me take it off right before I come
That's something you can borrow.
That is true. That is true. You're the royalty here.
Right. Okay, let's talk about North Carolina. Okay. In District 9, very interesting race. A lot of heavy hitters coming in for this one congressional race on both sides of the aisle.
Look, no question that you know how close the Republicans see control of the House as being. If they are willing to invest this much effort in the Senate, North Carolina doesn't have a Senate race. North Carolina doesn't have a gubernatorial race. It's one of 435 House races, and you've got the president, the vice president, everybody going down to try to save the seat. One of the other things about this that is interesting, just as Barack Obama, you can't go everywhere. And there's a limited number of places, so this is not a good time, for example, for Donald Trump to be in Ohio. It wouldn't be a good time for him to be in Pennsylvania. He took a move into Pennsylvania before, but his numbers are low in those states that he won, but where he's not so popular anymore. North Carolina is the kind of place where he can vote. Yes, it will cause a backlash among Democrats. It will increase Democratic intensity, but there are enough Republican voters out there in North Carolina that it can make a district in a race like this.
Yeah, James Taylor is going out there as well.
Not for the Republicans.
No. Make no mistake, but he's there for the Democrats, so it works on both sides. All right, let's turn the floor. This new poll, WCTV down there, I remember it well from the days in Tallahassee. They have this thing of basically a dead heat, the Senate race down there. Governor Scott, Senator Nelson.
So in the average, Senator Nelson has been consistently ahead 5-6 points. It's been pretty consistent. So this is the first poll that we have seen in quite a while that has the race close. Now, it was close once upon a time, and Scott even had an advantage in the early going. So we're going to wait and see is this poll an outlier, or is this the beginning of a trend? And for Scott, he needs it to be the start of the trend now, because as you're talking about, with early voting already going on, the time is running out quickly.
Well, and that's one of those states where there are big things, multiple big things on the ballot, because you've got the governor's race too with Thomas Mayor Andrew Gillum and Congressman Ron DeSantis. So all of that factors into who turns out and shows up.
And it's a state that, as you know, likes to decide elections rather narrowly.
Let me ask you quickly about Michigan as well, because we've got a four-term incumbent there, Senator Debbie Stabenow, but John James, this business owner, former military guy, he was down 23 points in September. This new poll says 7. Is there any shot for the GOP there?
Well, there's always a shot. Never, you know, I mean, Baylor might have won in the fourth quarter tonight against WVU. Down 50, they might have won. Anything's always possible. Here's what that poll shows. A poll for the Detroit News basically says that the races have both tightened, that Bill Schuette, who's the Republican nominee for governor, that both of the races have closed. Now, I would tell everybody this, as you get closer to the end, undecided voters lie. When a lot of undecided voters lie, when they say they're undecided, some people flatter themselves, say, well, I might still change my mind. What happens at the end is, as name identification for the candidates goes up and people return to their partisan roots, you will always see this tightening at the very end. Now, whether or not James has enough mojo, he's a very good candidate. He's a dynamic candidate. If it was a different year, he might be in a better condition.
Well, we'll see. And next time we expect to see you with Crown and Scepter and Road.
Mohamed Salah's first goal in 5 games.
Thank you. The manhunt is underway around the clock for a suspect in those mailings of suspected pipe bombs to prominent Democrats, including one they thought was working at CNN. Officials confirming to Fox News there is a region of interest.
While celebrating,
law enforcement ultimately must prove that they will find the perpetrators.
And in the tunnel.
Former Special Agent Fred Burton and former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy, they're both going to join us and weigh in on the legalities, the twists and turns, and search for a suspect.
I also make mistakes.
When I was shopping for car insurance, the choice was easy. I switched to Geico and saved hundreds.
After the game, you come to me to apologize. I accepted these apologies.
But it's not the only reason I switched.
Mauricio told
Geico has licensed agents who I can reach 24/7. Great savings and round-the-clock service.
But then,
now that's a win-win.
They didn't try to come. He also apologized. And I told him, I accept your apology.
It's a win-win.
Especially when I was...
With my hepatitis C, I felt I couldn't be at my best for my family. And only 8 weeks with Maverick, I was cured and left those doubts behind.
I faced reminders of my hep C every day, but in only 8 weeks with Maverick, I was cured.
Even hanging with friends, I worried about my hep C. But in only 8 weeks with Maverick, I was cured.
Maverick is the only 8-week cure for all common types of hep C. Before starting Maverick, your doctor will test if you've had hepatitis B, which may flare up and cause serious liver damage during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B, a liver or kidney transplant, other liver problems, HIV-1, or other medical conditions, and all medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Don't take Maverick with Atazanavir or rifampin, or if you've had certain liver problems. Common side effects include headache and tiredness.
With Hep C behind me, I feel free.
There's no looking back, because I am cured.
Talk to your doctor about Maverick.
But eastern parts
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'd like to know, when I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you ever wanted. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates the body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can purchase right cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's Ultra Soft Outer Layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of the standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
This is turkey in a vat of boiling oil. And these are Arby's deep-fried turkey sandwiches. What inspired us to serve the tastiest, yet most risky preparation of turkey? A really confusing motto here at Arby's. 2024. If you love it, fry it. And if you don't love it that much, fry it until you love it. I never noticed that.
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
This has to be taken with the utmost seriousness. So as far as a hoax device, we're not treating it that way. We are treating them as suspected explosive devices.
All right, here's the latest into the search for a suspect in the mailing of 10 suspected explosive devices to prominent Democrats and CNN. Investigators are focusing on Florida, New York, and Maryland as regions of interest, and officials are treating the packages as live devices, saying they are not hoaxes. Let's bring in former Special Agent, Vice President of Intelligence at Stratfor, Fred Burton, and Fox News contributor, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney, Andrew McCarthy. Welcome to you both.
Hi, Shannon.
All right, I want to read you something. I want to read you something from the Washington Post. It says there's a rich treasure trove of forensic information since they were found intact. This is quoting Matthew Doherty, formerly of the U.S. Secret Service National Threat Assessment Center. It says it means that FBI investigators can look for patterns such as the device, the technical expertise, the method of mailing, a whole host of great, rich forensic evidence that can be gathered. Fred, I'm guessing they have gathered a whole lot of information we, the public, don't yet know about.
Absolutely, Shannon. There's no doubt in my mind. I would not be surprised in the least that with the focus on the mail facility in Florida, that they've actually have some CCTV footage of some pretty good suspects going in and out of there. And if you think about this in context with our recent Austin bomber that we had here, and think about the resources that were devoted to hunt him down, you can look at this as an example of what's taking place behind the scenes.
Clearly. Okay, so now the LA Times touches on something that, Andy, you've written about too, which is what was the intent here? The headline is, design suggests suspicious packages intended to spread fear rather than destruction. Within the text of the article says, because none of the 10 suspicious devices sent to prominent figures in recent days have ignited, investigators now suspect that either a would-be bomb maker is inept or the packages were intended to spread fear rather than inflict injury or death, according to 2 people with knowledge of the investigation. I would assume, Andy, for experienced investigators, FBI bomb techs and others, they're going to know the difference.
Towards military equality as women get the right to fight.
Yeah, they are, Shannon. It's interesting, and I think Fred can attest to this as well. At the beginning of the investigation, when it's just 1 or 2 packages, you have to take the position, because it would be irresponsible to take any other position, that
was evacuated by police.
These are live bombs. This is somebody who intends to commit mass murder. When you get to the point where you're, 24, 36 hours fast forward, and now you've got 10 devices and nothing has gone off, and in fact what we're also hearing is that, most of the time when you're dealing with packages like this, the idea is that they're booby-trapped. The act of opening them is what detonates them, and that hasn't happened here with respect to at least some of them that have been opened. You have to then start shifting your theory to the idea that what we're dealing with is somebody who intended to frighten rather
and a suspicious
than
device
have these
taken
things
in a contained vehicle for
and that
further
becomes very
investigation.
important in your investigation because
In Delaware, the
this
same
means
thing.
this is somebody
2
who
suspected
intended
pipe bombs
for
in
these
Brussels
devices
addressed
to be
to former Vice
captured
President
intact.
Joe Biden.
So all of your assumptions
Over the
about,
last few days,
we have
others
all
have
this
been
rich
posted to
forensics
prominent
evidence.
Democrats,
Well,
including the
that's
Clintons,
true, but
Barack
if the guy
Obama,
is somebody
and former
who's more
CIA Director
sophisticated
John Brennan
and
at
actually
CNN's
didn't
offices
ever
in
expect
New
these
York.
things to go
All
off
the
in the
devices,
first place,
none
you're
of which
dealing with a different
exploded,
kind of
have been
offender.
similar. Plastic
And
pipes
I've learned
filled
a
with
lot
shards of
in this
glass,
process. I mean,
all
the fact today
packed
that
into padded
the U.S.
envelopes.
Postal Service takes a lot
It's
of
prompted
images of
a
incoming
frantic
mail.
national
How
manhunt
will that
amid
help
fears
possibly
this is
track
not
down the
over.
origins? I mean, will
We
it speed
continue
up
to
the
advise
process
the
for getting
American
to some
public to remain
answers
vigilant,
about that?
as it does remain possible
Absolutely,
further
Shannon.
packages have
And
been
the other
or could
interesting
be mailed.
aspect that I would
These
be
devices
worried about at
should
this
be
moment, based
considered
upon the
dangerous.
news coverage,
As well as
would
the
be a
investigation,
tactical
there is
shift,
much
as
debate
Andy
about
indicated
why
with the
this
bomb
might be
maker,
happening.
which is what we
Donald
saw
Trump's
with our
critics say
recent
that
model
all
here
of
in
those
Austin,
who've been
where
targeted have
he
also
watches the
been
news
subjected to
footage
personal
and then he
attacks
adjusts
by the
his
president
MO
himself.
predicated upon
Crooked
that.
Hillary
So will
Clinton.
we see a
Lynn's a very
shift? Will
bad
we see a
guy.
real
You are
device,
fake
God
news.
forbid?
Go ahead.
Those are the kinds of
But the
things
White House has
that
pointed
no
the
doubt
finger
the
at
FBI
Trump.
Counterterrorism Task
You guys
Force is
continue to
focused on.
focus only on the negative, and that is there
along
is a
with
role to play.
looking at,
Yesterday, the very
all the
first
other
thing that the
protective
president
intelligence
did was come
database
out and
files
condemn the
that
violence.
the
The very
Secret
first
Service
thing
and
your
the State
network
Department
did
of
was
Homeland
come out
Security
and
have.
accuse the
I
president
would not
of
be
being
surprised in the
responsible for
least
it. That is
that
not
this
okay.
person
The
is
first thing
not
should
of
have been
record
to
in those
condemn the
files
violence.
once we learn his
Whoever is
identity.
to blame,
Well, I would
American
suggest that
politics,
folks read Andy's
just
piece out
days
today, and I
before
will
the
tweet
midterm
that as well.
elections, is
Friend
marked
Andy,
by
thank you
anger,
both.
fear, and heated
Thank you,
rhetoric.
Shannon.
And there
Right,
is no
hundreds of
sign,
Italians
even amid
mourning
an
a slain
attempted
teen at a
bombing
candlelight
campaign,
vigil.
that is
That
going
story
to
tops
change.
where in the world tonight. The teen was
Thomas
attacked in a
Peter,
working
Sky
class
News, New
neighborhood
York.
in Rome. And tonight the mayor announced more
Let's tell you
police
about
will
some
be
more
sent to
news
that area to
today,
help fight
and,
crime.
Italian
The case
police
is
have
fueling
detained
outrage
3
over neglect of
suspects, all
Italy's
immigrants,
capital
in
and debates over
connection with the
immigration
murder of
as 3
16-year-old
suspects, all immigrants from
Desiree
Africa, are being
Marittini,
detained
who
in
was
connection with the
drugged
murder.
gangbanged
In
in
Lebanon,
a
clashes
building
between
in
rival
Rome. Authorities
Palestinian
said on
factions
Thursday
and
that the
refugee
suspects,
camps there.
2
Two seriously
Senegalese
injured.
citizens and 1
Officials say
Nigerian
fighting
were being
erupted
held on
again between
suspicion
members
of
of
murder,
Palestinian authorities
sexual
Fatah
assault,
and a
of
group
handing out
allied with
drugs.
Hezbollah. A week ago, clashes in the same refugee camp
Lebanese
led
security
to 2
officials
people
say
being
these 2
killed and
people
more
have
than
been
20
wounded in a
injured.
refugee camp
And Belgium
following
says
the
it has
clash
chosen
between
Lockheed
rival
Martin's
Palestinian
F-35 stealth
factions.
jet over
A
the
similar
Eurofighter
incident happened
Typhoon
last
to
week,
replace its
leaving 2
aging
people dead
F-16s.
and more than
That's a
20
$4.5
injured.
billion
Lebanese army
deal.
troops were deployed
Belgium
to
joins
the
a list of other
entrances of the
European NATO
Umia
allies,
camp
including
near the
Britain,
port
the
of
Netherlands,
Sidon.
Italy, and Turkey, to buy the American-made
Police in
state-of-the-art
Portugal
warplane.
took to the streets of
All right,
Lisbon
if you
in
happen to catch our
protest
power
against
panel at the top of the
shortages
show,
to
there was a big
services.
debate over a
And
tweet
what
by
they
conservative
say
commentator
is a
Matt
lack
Schlapp. So
of
we wanted
career
to show it to you. This is important.
Demonstration
This
which
was
began
during the
as a
Kavanaugh
peaceful
hearings
march quickly
about some of the
escalated on
Democrats
steps
on the
of
judiciary. Now, our guest from the DNC, Michael Blake, claimed that this tweet was racist. It does show 3 of the biggest objectors to Judge Kavanaugh, now Justice Kavanaugh, Mazie Hirono, Cory Booker, and Kamala Harris, all Democrats and all senators who sit on the committee there. Matt Schlapp tweeted it and said, look at this photo, conservative voters in. He names a number of key states. Several of those are red states where they have Democrats up for re-election. So we put it out there. They debated it. We wanted you to see it for yourself and make your own decision. The president issues another stern warning to the caravan of migrants. He's not the only one, but they're still pushing north, heading for the U.S. border. William Longinus is traveling with the group again tonight. We'll take you there.
I'm Ken Jacobus. I'm the owner of Good Start Packaging. We distribute environmentally friendly packaging for restaurants, and we've grown substantially, so I switched to the Smart Cash Card from Capital One. I earn unlimited 2% cash back on everything I buy, and last year I earned $36,000 in cash back. That's right, $36,000, which I used to offer health insurance to my employees. My unlimited 2% cash back is more than just a perk. It's our health care.
This is the first time a Universal Credit Call agent has openly spoken on behalf of life inside the system that communities are damaged.
We're going to have to fight. Is it ready?
We're getting something.
Sisters
Particularly finish the job. Sisters, brothers, helping them work and making them better off.
Who can help you undo the damage done by fire or water?
From this call centre
Search
in
no
Grimsby,
further than the
Bayard
experts
says
at
changes in the
Service
system
Master
occurred
Restore. We
daily,
help people go
but
from
not
disaster
necessarily for the
to done.
benefit of the claimant.
Service Master Restore.
Making it easier for us to
being a
process
good
things,
father
or
is
making it
important
easier
to
for
me.
us to end a call
So
sooner, or
being
changing
diagnosed
who
with
does what
advanced
jobs,
non-small cell lung
things.
cancer made me
There
think
didn't seem to be
of
a
all
lot
the things that I
of
wanted to
changes
teach
that were
my
specifically
kids.
there
Another
to
true
support
story with
claimants with particular
Keytruda.
problems
My
that were
doctor
being
said I
raised.
could start on Keytruda, so I did. Each scan,
So there was
things just got better.
something called
In a
the
clinical
deflection
study,
script,
Keytruda
which is
offered
within
patients
your
a
boot,
longer life than
you have a
chemotherapy,
piece of
and
paper
it
that
could be your
explains what to
first
do when
treatment.
someone calls
Keytruda
in.
is for
You
adults
were
with non-small cell lung cancer that
encouraged
has
to
spread, who test
do
positive
everything
for
in your power to
PD-L1,
get
and
them
whose
to
tumors
hang
do
up the
not
phone
have an
and do that
abnormal
online.
EGFR or ALK gene. It's the
The Department for Work
immunotherapy
and
with the most
Pensions said claims of
FDA-approved
a
uses
deflection
for
script
advanced
were
lung cancer.
completely false,
Keytruda
but
can
added
cause
that
your
when
immune
handling
system
a
to attack
query,
normal
call
organs and
agents
tissues in
may
your body
use
and affect how
aids
they
to
work.
help them
This can happen
effectively
anytime
process
during
cases,
or after treatment
including
and may be severe
directing
and lead to
claimants
death. See your
online in
doctor right
relation
away
to their
if you
claim.
experience new or
A
worsening cough,
DWP
chest pain,
spokesperson
shortness of
said,
breath,
"We
diarrhea,
take the training
severe
of our
stomach pain
call
or
handling
tenderness,
staff
nausea or
extremely
vomiting,
seriously
rapid
to
heartbeat,
ensure they are
constipation,
prepared to
changes in
handle a
urine,
range of
changes in
inquiries
eyesight, muscle
regardless
pain or
of
weakness,
how long they
joint pain,
might take.
confusion or memory
There is no
problems,
policy
fever,
to get
rash,
callers
itching
off
or flushing,
phones.
as this may keep these problems from becoming more serious.
He didn't want to
Consider
go
all
to
the possible side effects of
he was
Keytruda.
crying,
Tell your doctor
he was
about all
worried
your
about
medical
money.
conditions, including
Leanne
immune
Bailey's
system
dad,
problems, or if you've had an organ
was put on
transplant, or
universal
lung,
credit
breathing, or
earlier
liver
this year.
problems.
In July,
Before
on the
I
day
think
his
of the
next
stuff I
appointment
might
was
miss.
due,
But now Keytruda,
Living longer is possible. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. Ask your doctor about Keytruda.
Is it just me, or does online dating feel like a total waste of time? I've spent hours on these apps, and it's gotten me nowhere. Can we just stop? I want to meet someone I would actually want to date. Someone I would feel
now one of the
comfortable
most
introducing
powerful
to my
committees in
friends,
Parliament
you
for
know?
public
It's just
accounting
lunch,
has
so
published a
dinner.
scathing
It's not a
attack on the
dating
way the
app, not
Department for
even
Work and
close.
Pensions
You
has
work with a
managed the universal
matchmaker.
credit
She
rollout.
got to know me,
Accusing
asked
the
me what I like to
Department
do,
of
what I'm
persistently
looking for,
ignoring the
and
concerns
then
of
she
the
got to
government
work.
organisation.
And you know,
There's
if
a real
you meet him
evidence
through It's
that came
Just
through
Lunch,
very clearly
he's
to us
just
that
as
hardship
serious
has
as
been
you
increased
are.
for many universal credit
At It's
claimants.
Just Lunch,
If you're waiting
our
for money for
experienced
5 weeks and
matchmakers
you've got
know
no
what it
food in your
takes to
cupboard,
bring the right
that's a really
people
big problem. You
together.
can't pay your
Call
rent. That's a really big problem. This is the reality for many people.
800-649-0515 to find out
According
what
to
our
figures
professional
compiled by the
matchmakers
Joseph
can do
Roundtree
for you.
Foundation and given
There
exclusively
are
to
good
Sky
guys
News,
just
working
think about
families
little
are
help
suffering.
finding.
4
Call
million
It's Just
workers are now
Lunch at
locked in poverty. That's a rise of 500,000 in the last 5 years. This is the highest rate in 20 years. And while the number of
Asked
those
if the
in
troops being
work
sent to
is
the border would
growing,
be
the
armed,
number
Homeland
of
Security
workers
Secretary
in
Kirsten
poverty
Nielsen says
is
the rules
growing
of
faster.
engagement are up to the Pentagon, but she was
There
clear.
have been calls to
Migrants
scrap
will be
universal
stopped
credit,
and turned around.
although it's
They
likely
try to
to
come
undergo
illegally.
further tweaks
National correspondent
instead.
William
The
Lajeunesse
full
is traveling
rollout
with
to
the
millions
caravan.
of people is being
No
delayed.
work,
The system simply
no
not ready for so
Medicare,
many.
you know, and it's hard for everybody.
Let me just tell you, Vargas got deported from a construction job in South Carolina. Giovanni Vargas got deported after a traffic violation. Both are going back.
My boss in California, he speak with me and say, Giovanni, when you come back, I needed my military in my company.
The British Armed
And I
Forces,
say,
they'll now be able to
maybe
apply for all
30
roles,
or
including those
35
in
days,
special
maybe.
forces like
Most of the
SAS
caravan, like
and
Armando
Royal Marines.
Calendra's, never left the U.S.
We are a big family. My children are young, and we are looking for the American dream.
So right now we're in southern Mexico, literally about 2,000 miles to the border at San Diego, or 1,000 miles from McAllen, Texas. Some will walk, they'll hitchhike when they can, catching a ride in the back of a pickup truck or a flatbed, or they'll do this.
This is a celebration
they'll
of
pay about
military
$1.50 to $2 a
equality.
person and get in one of these taxi vans and
the
roll
Royal
around town to town, sleeping each night, walking a little bit, all the way through Mexico to the U.S. border. Now there's a train they can catch not far from here, but it's dangerous. So the farther we go north, the group, the caravan will likely splinter. Some will go towards the east, but the majority, we're told, will go west to Tijuana, and that is where some will cross illegally, others, like this family, will ask for asylum. Are you worried at all about not being allowed in?
The Defence Secretary Gavin Williamson made the announcement that ability, not gender, will determine entry,
So the goal
but
tomorrow is a
admitted
town
more
called
women still
Arriaga.
need
It's
to be
62
recruited
miles
into senior
away,
positions.
but it's also
We
home
recognise that
to a
actually
freight train
the armed
called
forces do need to change and do need to adapt, and we're
Many
quite
migrants tell
willing
us they
to
plan
make
to try
those
to hop that train because it moves so much quicker. They can cover in 1 hour what it takes 1 day to walk.
Until 2016, females were restricted to supportive airborne duties or more defensive roles
that, however,
on the ground.
Shannon, remains to be seen.
All right.
right, William Lajeunesse, thank you very much. Well, the White House fact sheet on the issue claims the Democrats are, quote, open border obstructionists. Well, the New York Times column points out how Democrats should combat that narrative from the White House, suggesting this. The author writes, we're not going to admit thousands of undocumented immigrants traveling in a caravan. We do not have open borders, but we are and have always been a country of compassion. So let's bring in the executive director of the Central American Resource Center, Abel Nunez, and the president of the Federation for American Immigration Reform, Dane Stein. Welcome to you both.
Glad to be here. Sometimes the operational capability
Okay, so
and the
I
chances
want to play
of
something
survival
that
on the battlefield
Vice President Pence had to say today about the situation.
In certain situations where you have a mix of
Department of Homeland Security issued a statement saying, quote,
Nevertheless,
gang
Brigadier
members
Sharon
and
Nesmith
criminals with
says
significant
these
criminal
changes mark a
history
shift in
are
perception of
in
women
the
in
caravan, and that includes citizens from, I'm quoting, outside Central America, including the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia, that are currently traveling through Mexico toward the United States of America. Those are the facts.
This is clearly an evolving military force, ripping up the old rule book.
Well, we already have a process for vetting. Once they get to the border, everyone has a right to ask for an asylum process, and you will figure out if they have a credible fear, and then begin a process of asylum. For those that don't, will be detained and returned back to the country. Something that the U.S. has done, continues to do, and will do. Now, we have to remember that these people, and the context in which they come, is very difficult. We're talking about at a maximum number of 10,000, depending on the numbers that you believe. I believe that the U.S. has the ability to deal with this crisis, with this issue. It's not it's part of the course of what's going on in the southern.
Well, and Dan, part of the problem is that there's already such a huge backlog in the system of trying to, process people who are trying to come here for legal immigration, the asylum requests. I mean, this stuff takes forever, and nobody seems to be cleaning up the situation here in D.C.
Shannon, it's unconscionable that after we watched what happened in Europe in 2015, that the United States Congress has not stepped up to close the obvious loopholes and manipulation that are taking place in our asylum system. Everybody in that caravan who's coming, particularly the ones bringing minors, know full well that if they get to the U.S. and ask for asylum, they'll be given a court date sometime down the line. They can disappear for years, maybe never show up, and taxpayers are supposed to pay unlimited amounts of money to go running around trying to find them. And then you have the entire Democratic Party that says anybody who isn't a violent felon or a murderer or a terrorist shouldn't be deported. So then they don't want any resources to go to actually go find them. So naturally the illegal population continues to swell, court backlogs continue to grow, asylum becomes the method of choice to get around border enforcement, and so people are rational. They're getting into that caravan because they know precisely what to expect on the other side. The Trump administration is dealing with two hands tied behind its back because Congress has failed to deliver the goods. Build a wall, interior enforcement, asylum reform, mandatory detention, speedy process, 72 hours. Any alien who has not applied for asylum in Mexico, not applied in Guatemala, who's come through from Honduras, should be summarily returned on the next plane. No reason for this country or any country to have to entertain asylum claims for people who are shopping for where they want to live. That's not, under international law, that is not a privilege you have if you believe you're a bona fide refugee.
So what about some of those? I mean, a couple things there. The Border Patrol and DHS put out new numbers yesterday. Talked about the number of people who come for claims, ultimately are turned away or disappear somewhere into the system. And what about this issue that's constantly brought up about why not stop at another country? Why cross through and come to the U.S.?
We have to understand and look at this issue from a transnational perspective, meaning that the foreign policy of this nation from previous governments have created conditions in the country that are untenable and unbearable. The people there are not in a caravan, they're really in an exodus. And their choice is, do we stay and die, or do we go and try? They understand the laws of this country, and I think they know that it's not an easy task. You were mentioning before how difficult it would be for those people to undertake this trip, so it's not something that they take lightly. But unfortunately, the conditions in the country are not one that can sustain their life.
What about Mexico? Why travel, thousands of miles through Mexico and not try to stop there and seek asylum there?
Well, some of them have, and there are over 100 people that have applied for asylum, and we need to ensure that Mexico is not given sort of a free pass. They need to strengthen their humanitarian protection, and this is about a humanitarian issue that is happening on our border that will end up in our doorstep. And we as Americans have to decide what values do we have and how are we going to treat people that are fleeing violence.
We have established that the people coming in are disrespecting the laws of Guatemala, Guatemala, and Mexico. We've established that Mexico is not enforcing its immigration laws, allowing people to transship Mexico, not just from Honduras, but from all over the world. People coming in through Guatemala from all over the world, special interest aliens, as Vice President Pence said. This is a national security problem. And if Mexico is not going to be a full partner in enforcing its own immigration laws, we have a very big security problem with Mexico's failure to act to prevent this from happening. There's no reason that they ought to be getting on a beast and riding all the way up. Once they get inside the U.S., the ACLU will be in court. They'll find a Ninth Circuit over-the-tongue judge to join it, and the next thing you know, there's an injunction and they're all in.
All right, Dan and Abel, thank you very much both for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, there's a new story out of the Saudis about the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
And Markets News from Johannesburg. I'm Bonnie Seabourn and Inspector Sky News Centre in London.
Insurance that won't replace the full value of your new car? You're better off throwing your money right into the harbor.
I'm gonna regret that. With Liberty Mutual new car replacement, we'll replace the full value of your car.
Liberty, 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 liberty. So-so pizza? Not in this house. Because that's no so-so family. That's your family. Which is why you didn't grab just any cheese. You picked up new Kraft expertly paired mozzarella and Parmesan for pizza. Ah, yeah. Kraft. Family greatly.
We believe in rock.
And
roll.
We'll be taking a
we
look
believe
at
in
the
blasting it down the fairway,
that have been unveiled across the UK,
turning up the
highlight
heat
the legacy
and the fun.
By the First World War.
At Del Webb, we believe in life well led, in your own beautiful, smartly designed home. In an active adult community with sushi eaters,
residents on Mexico's
artists,
Pacific coast
thrill
have begun
seekers,
clearing up the wreckage
and
left
you.
by Hurricane Willa.
We believe
the storm ripped through
you'll
the town
like it
overnight, tearing off
Midterm
rooftops, downing
madness
car lines,
as the
and
races
splitting
heat up
trees
and
apart.
candidates make their last
Willa hit
stops.
the
Anthony
northwestern
Scaramucci
state
and
of
Sarah
Sinaloa
Palin
late
have
on
must-see
Tuesday.
insight on the next revolution with
It
Steve
is one of
Hilton.
the strongest storms to lash the coast in recent years. Winds of up to 120 miles per hour.
Left untreated, it could lead to the death of oneself or injuries to others. If you've been trying to quit your addiction to drugs
Indonesia's
and alcohol,
second largest city has come up with a novel way to encourage its residents to recycle waste, giving free bus rides in exchange for used plastic bottles. Under the scheme launched by Surabaya in April, commuters can ride red city buses by dropping off plastic bottles in terminals or directly paying a fare with bottles. A 2-hour bus ticket costs 10 plastic cups or up to 5 plastic bottles, depending on their size, which the city hopes will help it meet an ambitious target of becoming free of plastic by 2020. City data shows that 15%, or nearly 400 tons, of Surabaya's daily waste is plastic.
My kids, they measurably get
the Philippines has reopened its top tourist lure, the island of Boracay. The beauty spot has been closed for 6 months, whilst an intensive cleanup to overhaul its overwhelmed road, waste and water systems has been going on. The new and cleaner Boracay will now have stricter rules to try and maintain high environmental standards, according to the Tourism Secretary. Tourists will have to say goodbye to beach parties and water sports when the white sand resort reopens. Drinking and smoking in public places will be banned, along with late-night parties. The number of visitors will be capped at 6,405 in the day, and only 19,000 tourists will be allowed there at any one
By the
time.
Florida Chamber of Commerce, Bob Rommel is a jobs champion. He led the way in cutting red tape for our small
A Chinese
business.
entrepreneur is reviving
Fought to
old ways of
block local tax
walking
increases,
and hopes to tap
made
into
investments
growing
in
demand for
workforce
niche
training,
handmade
and
goods
knows our
from
quality
China's
of
young
life is
affluent
critical for
consumers.
our
Taiwan One started his business selling handmade iron versions of room called a cooking pan 3 years ago near his home village in the central Hubei province. He was inspired during a visit to a Japanese art workshop in Beijing, where he saw gifts made from traditional ironwork that was popular
Newman
with
Springs
young Chinese
Publishing is
buyers.
America's premier independent publishing house. We help publish your book and get it into bookstores everywhere. Call Newman Springs Publishing.
1-800-753-8555 to highlight the legacy left by the First World War.
Experience.
It's all part of this
Naples
year's
Mazda.
Coffee
Drive
Appeal
the new
and
Mazda
comes ahead of the
MX-5
centennial
Neon
mark
with
at the end.
1.9% financing. Come visit a dealership where the ordinary is extraordinary. Naples Mazda, your Mazda destination.
This Poppy Day launch was all about that.
The prosecutors are now admitting the death of Washington Post contributor Jamal Khashoggi was planned. And in the latest attempt to mitigate the international outcry over their original explanation, the country also lifting travel restrictions on Khashoggi's eldest son. Rich Edson's at the State Department with new details. Hi, Rich.
Good evening, Shannon. CIA Director Gina Haspel has just returned from Turkey and briefed President Trump on the Turkish investigation into the death of Jamal Khashoggi. The State Department says Secretary Pompeo was also in that briefing. According to reports, while in Turkey, Haspel heard an audio recording of Jamal Khashoggi's murder. The CIA has declined comment on that. This morning, the Saudi government released a statement that its investigators, quote, received information from the Turkish side that the suspects in the incident had committed their act with a premeditated intention. Saudi Arabia stresses the Turkish government simply relayed this information to Saudi officials, who will then use it in their own investigation. Weeks ago, the Saudi government claimed Khashoggi had left the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Then Friday, Saudi officials blamed his death on a meeting that turned into a brawl that killed him. This week, Turkey's president essentially said that was untrue and that a Saudi hit squad planned Khashoggi's murder. Many of the details of this investigation come from the Turkish government and Turkish media, which essentially operate under government control. Saudi Arabia has also allowed Khashoggi's son and his family to leave the country. The State Department says Secretary Pompeo made clear to Saudi leaders that they should allow him to return to the United States. That's after Khashoggi's son and brother met with King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Tuesday. The Saudi government says the royals expressed their condolences to the Khashoggi family and that his family responded with their great thanks for the consolation. The Associated Press reports last year the Saudi government banned Khashoggi's son from leaving the country because of what his father was writing, criticisms of the government. Shannon?
Rich Edson at the State Department, thank you very much.
From a fresh coastal breeze to watching the sunset.
$14,000 in rent. They still got to pay taxes and expenses, but they say their residents are family and say this: we're not into numbers, we're into creating homes for people. Corey and Mickey, you are our Midnight Heroes tonight. Well, most watched, most trusted, and most grateful you spent the evening with us. Good night from Washington. I'm Shannon Bream. Stick around for Tucker.
At a theme. We think it's time for the financial world to stop acting the same old way. In today's complex world, you need a partner. And we are driven to do more.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats differently. For psoriasis, 75% clearer skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques.
F765.
The US remains on high alert after more mail bombs are found. Federal agents search a mail facility in Florida as the hunt for the sender continues. Also, Sir Philip Green is named as the British businessman trying to stop a newspaper publishing claims of sexual harassment and racist behaviour, which he denies. We travel with thousands of migrants trying to get to America as President Trump says he'll send troops to stop them at the border. And the move towards military equality as the women get the right to fight in combat roles in Britain's armed forces. And our top story for you here on Sky World News, no let-up in the mail bomb scare sweeping America. This was New York just a few hours ago as an area of the Time Warner building was evacuated by police. This followed reports of 2 unattended packages. It has now been confirmed this was all a false alarm, so a precaution there. However, very typical of the scenes also seen in Washington and Miami over the last 24 hours or so, where reports of suspect packages put the authorities at full stretch. We do know at least 10 mail bombs have been discovered so far. In each case, the target has been an outspoken critic of President Trump, though it's not just confined to politicians, as our US correspondent Hannah Thomas-Peter reports.
At Robert De Niro's Manhattan restaurant, an early morning visit from the bomb squad and a suspicious device taken in a containment vehicle for further investigation. In Delaware, the same thing. 2 suspected pipe bombs in parcels addressed to former Vice President Joe Biden. Over the last few days, others have been posted to prominent Democrats, including the Clintons, Barack Obama, and former CIA Director John Brennan at CNN's offices in New York. All the devices, none of which exploded, have been similar. Plastic pipes filled with shards of glass, all packed into padded envelopes. It's prompted a frantic national manhunt amid fears this is not over.
We continue to advise the American public to remain vigilant, as it does remain possible further packages have been or could be mailed. These devices should be considered dangerous.
As well as the investigation, there is much debate about why this might be happening. Donald Trump's critics say that all of those who've been targeted have also been subjected to personal attacks by the president himself.
Crooked Hillary Clinton.
Brennan's a very bad guy.
You are fake news. Go ahead.
But the White House has pointed the finger at the media.
You guys continue to focus only on the negative, and that is there is a role to play. Yesterday, the very first thing that the president did was come out and condemn the violence. The very first thing your network did was come out and accuse the president of being responsible for it. That is not okay. The first thing should have been to condemn the violence.
Whoever is to blame, American politics, just days before the midterm elections, is marked by anger, fear, and heated rhetoric. And there is no sign, even amid an attempted bombing campaign, that is going to change. Hannah Thomas-Peter, Sky News, New York.
Now, in Britain, the speculation is over because after days of gossip and muck spreading, Sir Philip Green has been named as the businessman who tried to stop a newspaper publishing allegations of sexual harassment and racist abuse. In Parliament, Lord Haynes said it was his duty to identify him. Sir Philip said he wouldn't comment on the court injunction, but did deny the allegations. Our business correspondent Adam Parsons has this.
A heavyweight confrontation. In one corner, Sir Philip Green, one of the nation's best-known business leaders, the billionaire who owns Topshop and sold BHS. Pitched against him, the Daily Telegraph, which reported that it was facing an injunction from an unnamed businessman to stop it reporting allegations of harassment and bullying. It was an information vacuum today filled by Lord Haynes.
The case of a powerful businessman using non-disclosure agreements and substantial payments to conceal the truth about serious and repeated sexual harassment, racist abuse and bullying, which is compulsively continuing. I feel it's my duty under parliamentary privilege to name Philip Green as the individual in question.
Well, Lord Haynes was able to say what he did because he made his comments here in the Houses of Parliament, where what members say is protected by the law of privilege. Sir Philip says he categorically denies any unlawful, sexual or racist behaviour. Much about this case remains private, but we know it will revolve around the use of non-disclosure agreements, where people are paid money in return for their silence. They protect some and infuriate many.
They have been misused, unethically, I would say unlawfully used, to shut up people who are the victims, sometimes of crime. I think in this day and age, these injunctions to protect the wealthy are simply not on.
And this the response from The Telegraph, the paper that spent 8 months investigating Sir Philip.
We're considering all of our legal options at the moment, and we'll always fight for freedom of the press. We're fighting to publish. We ultimately want the injunction to be overturned, and that's what we'll be continuing to do in the coming days.
Our laws allow rich and powerful men to pretty much do whatever they want as long as they can pay to keep it quiet.
These agreements have already sparked debate and also promises in the House of Commons.
Non-disclosure agreements cannot stop people from whistleblowing, but it is clear some employers are using them unethically. And the government is going to bring forward measures for consideration, for consultation, to seek to improve the regulation around non-disclosure agreements.
Non-disclosure agreements are often used in the corporate world to prevent industrial secrets being shared. But they've also been used by the likes of Harvey Weinstein and the organisers of the notorious President's Club to silence victims. These agreements, like Sir Philip, now find themselves under scrutiny. Adam Parsons, Sky News.
President Trump is preparing to send troops to the US border with Mexico, where thousands of migrants are trying to enter America. But his threats of military action haven't stopped the migrants, who are now weeks into their journey. 1,000 Hondurans set off from San Pedro Sula on October the 13th. It's taken one group, or the group at which one stage grew to 7,000 people, 11 days to reach the Mexican town of Mapastepec. From here, it's going to take at least another month to walk the 1,700 kilometres to McAllen at the US border. We're now in Pijilapan, from where our US correspondent Cordelia Lynch reports.
Dawn, and the sluggish, stifling trek north is already underway. They believe America is still in their sights, and they take any opportunity they can to lighten the load. Some are willing to carry extra, a weighty tribute to the Mexican people who have helped them this far. They've been looking for a US flag too.
Estamos preparados para lo que viene.
But Gustavo tells me he's willing to cross illegally into America if he has to. His friend Nelson says they're escaping life under a dictator in Honduras. As they pause by the roadside to ponder their next move, Donald Trump is making his own, vowing to send at least 800 military troops to the border to tackle what he describes as the migrant onslaught. Plenty of families like Ludens, though, keep pushing on.
Oh, yeah, don't worry.
She says she hopes that God will touch Donald Trump's heart. He is a president who prides himself on taking a hard line on immigration, and these images won't sit well with him.
We're at a checkpoint here, and there are very few police officers present, and this is what we're seeing, just truckloads of people passing through.